Austin Forkner is joining Gypsy Tales podcast, mate. How are you?
Gun, shoot him in the head.
Put Austin Forkner crash and see what comes up.
There's a few.
The first thing he said is he was like, if you would have done that onto dirt, he's like, you probably would have died. You probably would have broken your back and probably like severed your spinal cord.
Let's fast forward a couple months and you now have a plate in your skull.
You need to have brain surgery now. We don't know if you can ride ever again. They just left me sitting in there just internally bleeding for like hours. Am I gonna get hurt? Probably. But when I come back, I will be one of the fastest guys.
You fucking bled for this sport.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of respect for you for that. It is important to me that supplements I take are of the highest quality, and that's why for years now I've been drinking AG1. Unlike many supplement brands, AG1 conducts relentless testing to set the standard for purity and potency. Quality for AG1 isn't just a buzzword, it's a commitment backed by expert-led scientific research, high-quality ingredients, industry-leading manufacturing, and rigorous testing. I know I can trust what's in every scoop of AG1 because it's tested for 950 contaminants and banned substances, while the industry standard typically only tests for 10. I love that every scoop of AG1 includes probiotics, prebiotics, and digestive enzymes for gut support, rhodiola, and B vitamins for energy support. So if you want to replace your multivitamin and more, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs at drinkag1.com/gypsytales. Check it out. But before we get into this podcast, we have some breaking news. Manscaped now offers beard products and they are available in your country. It's time to tame your mane, so say goodbye to all your stubble trouble with Manscaped's new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. They have created 4 dermatologist-tested formulations for your post-trim care. First, there is the beard shampoo and conditioner, the beard balm that shapes, styles, moisturizes, and tames for a sculpted look. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. The Beard Pro Kit also comes with 3 free gifts, a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is always ready to impress. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code GYPSYGANG at manscaped.com. Manscaped Beard Hedger. 1 stroke, 1 guard, 20 lengths.
I met a gypsy.
And then we're good. This is us. This is us for the next few hours.
Sweet.
Austin Forkner is joining Gypsy Tales podcast, mate. How are you?
Good. Sick. Been meaning to come over and do this for a while. I didn't know you were this close to where G's is.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, whenever I was driving over here, like this is where G's old place is like 5 minutes away. So that's what I didn't know you were in this area. I just knew that you were on somewhere over this side of the mountain. But yeah, I'm stoked.
How good is G? He's
how,
a man.
How good is G?
Yeah,
he's good. He's I mean, I would go see him almost daily if he was on the other side of the mountain. I just don't because he's so far away and I don't want to go an hour and a half traffic. Some days I feel like I drive and get my back worked on or whatever, and then I sit an hour and a half or 2 hours of traffic. And then by the time I get back, I'm like, dude, I just ruined everything we just did at G's. Like, and then he's like, well, why don't you come in more? I'm like, dude, because I just he's like, you pay me, so like, why just come? I'm like, dude, well, it's 4 hours round trip on my days off. I want to use that 4 hours to not be sitting in traffic.
The traffic here, like, even it's funny because my wife has never been here before. Like, we've basically been here a year, but she'd never been here before.
Yeah,
and she was just like, where'd we go the other day? And she's like, this is a problem. This is just a huge problem. I'm like, yeah, this has no. Oh, we went and saw Fred again. In LA. Took 3 fucking hours, bro, to go from Dana Point to LA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to go to the Carhartt store. I'm going to go to La Brea real quick. We never go to LA. And then we're in traffic for 3 hours. And I'm like, that's why we never go to LA.
Yeah.
I'm never fucking doing this again.
Yeah, that's what Riley works at, like, she'll work for guests, and they're close to downtown, and she's gone all day. She leaves at like 4 and she doesn't work there very like they don't like she only models probably once every few weeks or whatever, but she has like she'll usually do like work for 2 days. So like she'll wake up at like 4 both mornings and be back at like 9, and both of those days are just horrible.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
I'm not jealous of that at all.
California, pick one thing to do a day. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the golden rule of California.
Yeah.
And it took me a while of being back here. Australia, I was like a minute from the studio. My house is a minute walk from the beach. Like just everything is so easy and close. Never dealing with traffic. You can get so much shit done in a day. Here, pick one thing. You want to ride? Okay, you're doing that.
Yeah.
You want to do podcast? All right, you're doing that.
Yeah, that's what it's just that's what it is. Like back in the Midwest, I was the same way. It was like I could just go pop, 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 just bounce around. No traffic, never had to worry about anything. I would leave. If it was 30 minutes to the gym, I would leave 28 minutes before and I would make up time on the way there. Like I was never like, that's just how we're here. It's like you always are leaving early. You're always doing this, or always sitting here waiting for this or that or something. So yeah, you can't. It's hard to, because I like usually having like a lot of stuff to do. Like I'll wake up, go ride, do this, and then by the time I'm done at whatever 5, it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna sit on. I'm not doing anything the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But like sometimes it's not like that here because you just can't like.
You just can't.
There's other stuff I want to fit it in, but I can't. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just do my 2 things for the day or whatever, and then just that's it. I'll make it up some other day. But that's what back in Oklahoma I would do. We'd just bounce from thing to thing to thing to thing because you could just do it so quickly. And we were like 30 minutes from the track and then like 10 minutes from the gym. So it was easy.
It makes it so simple.
Yeah, so easy.
But California is also extremely sick.
Yeah, I mean, the weather here is obviously good, and I mean, as far
can't
as
go to the beach though. Have you seen all the shark attacks?
Oh yeah, I did actually see that.
Bro,
yeah. They were just. I just saw one in where
Del
we were
Mar,
just.
dude.
Yeah, we were just up in Northern California for my brain surgery, and there was just one up somewhere up in there.
Yeah, right.
Like Santa Barbara or something like that. There was one that it was like on the beach.
Yeah.
Like a big like 10-foot tiger shark or something, just like chilling on the beach. Like people are just filming it. Like it's right there.
So the California did have beaches until a string of shark attacks that probably ruined all that.
Yeah, I'm not real. Luckily, I guess for me, is I don't like sharks, but I'm also not very good at water sports.
Yeah,
like
so
I can surf and I can like do stuff like that, but I'm like, it's not like I'd rather do just like go ride BMX bikes or go ride scooter.
Yeah, well,
do something like that.
That's Oklahoma, bro.
Yeah, that's what I grew up in. So that's what like there wasn't really. If you had a water sport to do a water sport there, you'd have to have a boat or you'd have to have this, you'd have to have that, and then to be in a lake. But you don't want to be in the lakes around here, like the Lake Elsinore. You don't want to be. I don't even think you can do anything there. It's so like septic. It's green.
It's crazy that they don't do something about that. Because I mean, that's like a pretty big. Like you look at Canyon Lake, that place is super nice, and you can wakeboard and do all sorts of shit there. It's crazy to me that they just Lake Elsinore is actually a shithole,
it's just
and they just don't want to like fix it.
It used to be like decent. I remember we went there. We went and wakeboarded there like one of my first times coming out here, probably 2014 or something like that.
How old would you? You would have been like 12, 13.
12 or 13, yeah. And we went then. It was at that time. It was already. They were like, if you have a big cut, probably stay in the boat. If you're like, if you just like little stuff, you should be fine. But like, if you have a big cut, don't get in the water. And then I was like,
that's enough for me.
Yeah. And then now, like that I live out here and I drive by it all the time, I'm like, dude, this thing is gnarly. Like, I'm not gonna get in there.
Like, just make it good. Like, why can't they make it good?
I don't know.
You'd think that would be good for the community overall, right?
I mean, there's not really much else in Lake if Lake Elsinore had
it's called
track,
Lake Elsinore.
Lake Elsinore. If it had the track and that, like that wouldn't be a bad place to be. But I feel like nobody wants to be there because
it's a shithole.
Yeah, it's just a shithole basically. So the track's dusty and the lake is green. So it's like
I refuse to ride at that track.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that track.
I wish it was better.
Yeah.
But I just think they got incredibly unlucky with dirt.
The dirt there is terrible. It's
Yeah.
like straight. It's just straight clay.
Yeah.
The Supercross track is good.
Because it
Sometimes,
gets hard.
yeah, sometimes it's good. The whoops are actually, they always build them big, but they stay like, usually stay pretty good because they're so hard. But yeah, the outdoor track is honestly hardly even worth riding at.
Did
The Supercross track's decent though.
Did you ever go to the National there?
No,
Bro.
I
It was so fucking hot. I think it was in like 2012 maybe.
yeah, something
And
like that.
so do you ever remember Josh Kasher?
Yeah.
So he was riding for the JDR team. Like that's when I was
Yeah.
working for the JDR team. And he got like knocked out or got a concussion in practice or something. I think he like basically forgot the layout and he like jumped one of the singles like it was one of the big jumps.
I think I remember that actually.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like a, I
was
think
near
I
the finish,
remember.
I think.
Yeah, I think I remember that. And he like landed in the braking bumps or something and like went over. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
And then he did that. I'm pretty sure he did it again in one of the motos because he like hit his head. And then he just got like crazy heat exhaustion. So he had like a concussion and fucking heat exhaustion
Yeah.
all in one day and
Yeah,
just
dude.
like fully cooked himself.
That's
And
what.
that to me like feels like that national.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Paula last year, when they had it was the last race last year, I think too. It was the first and whatever year they had it, the first and last race. The last race was gnarly.
Hot.
Like it was so hot. Like it was like you show up and you're just like, dude, I don't even want
this
to be
ain't
here.
it,
This
yeah.
isn't, and the track's dusty already. Like they can't get enough water on it because it's so hot and it's just California dirt. So like, yeah, that outdoors here is not Supercross here. At least for the past couple of years, especially this year, was good because like
Yeah, I
we
feel
got
like it was just wet all the time.
it was
yeah.
always wet. So like the dirt stayed good. The tracks were pretty good. The only thing that sucks with Supercross out here now is that we've lost tracks. Like Milestone's gone.
Yeah.
That State Fair, which was the old Star West.
Star West.
They
yeah.
just closed this year. They had a Supercross track and an outdoor track. So we lost kind of a couple, and now it's like you got to go up to like Kahia to get another outdoor track, or up to Glen Helen, which I can't stand Glen Helen. And then
what, the outdoor track?
yeah,
as well?
I just don't like driving
How
out there.
dare you?
And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
That's fine. That's fine.
I don't really like many California tracks, to be honest. Like they're
Yeah,
just
you
not
came from
my
Oklahoma.
Yeah, they're just I'm used to like good dirt. Like
So you're not on team get a national back at Glen Helen?
no, I'm not on team get a national anywhere in California. Basically,
Okay,
like that's
alright.
just I'm not about like I've never at any national in California, even like Hangtown. I just never really do that great at. It's always like Bud's Creek,
Yeah.
Red Bud. Those tracks are like the ones that I start to actually ride good at. But any of the beginning ones, the heat out here too is always
It's
was always
different.
weird coming from
Yeah.
Oklahoma. Now I'm used to it,
Yeah.
but it's like it's
It's
a dry
dry,
heat.
yeah.
So like it it almost in a way dehydrates you more than like the other places, the East Coast places in the Midwest. It's more humid, so you sweat more, but there's more like
There is moisture.
yeah, there's
like,
moisture
yeah,
in
yeah,
the air. So
yeah.
it's like your throat doesn't dry out during the moto or what. Like when you're riding out here like 25 minutes in, you're like, dude, I need a drink.
Dude, you know
like,
what happens to me? I have like bad fucking sinuses just
Yeah.
in general. I do motos out here and I get like 20 minutes in and my fucking nose, I just get snot, bro. Just
Yeah.
like pouring it. And I
Yeah.
think it's because of that dry.
Yeah, probably
It's
something like
fucking disgusting. Every time I come in, I just have like shit
All
all
over,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it stays in the beard. It's
that.
fucking
Yeah.
gross.
Dude, that's what is weird about out here. A couple of years ago, I was riding just like coming into outdoors, just like practicing and stuff, and I was just like every day was just like 15 minutes into the 30. I'm just like, dude, I'm done. I'm done. Like I can't. I was like just didn't have anything left, and I finally went and got an IV, and I was like a completely new human after that. I
It
didn't
is
realize
crazy.
how like. Because I was still drinking, like I would always carry a gallon. I would drink the whole thing every day, take my electrolyte stuff, like all that stuff. I was still doing that like every day.
What electrolyte stuff do you use?
Now I use Rhino Power.
Yep.
And I use First Endurance, the EFS stuff. Just
Yeah.
because I use that whenever I work with Robbie.
Yeah.
And I think it is pretty good. But that's what, dude, like outdoors sucks, man. Like it doesn't
It's a
matter.
grind,
It
eh?
doesn't matter what you drink or what you eat or what, like, I mean, at least for me anyway, like I've tried eating a lot. I've tried drinking as literally as much as I can, like as much as I can physically drink without puking. And still at the end of the day, I'm leaving and I'm like getting the cold shakes because I'm
Yeah.
like heat exhaustion every single race. That's how, like,
Yeah.
every race is like that. It's like, dude, Supercross, you afterwards, if there's like an after party and you have
You
a
can
good
go
night,
to it.
you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I feel like going to it. Outdoors, you get done and you're like, dude,
Kill me.
I don't want to even go eat. I want to go to my hotel and sleep.
Yeah.
And then you have like a 4 a.m. flight the next morning or something. So you sleep like 3 hours by the time you get back from Budds Creek is like a 2-hour drive. So you have to wake up at like 5, get back at like 6 or 7 if you have, especially if you get a podium, you have press. Like, so it's all day in the heat. You're dead exhausted, tired, thirsty, hungry. You're just, everything is just
And
drained.
then you're on
at
a
the end of outdoors.
southwest at 6 a.m. the next morning.
Hell
It's
yeah.
the fucking worst.
Hell yeah. That's outdoors, dude. That's what, like, I'm bummed that I'm missing outdoors. It's a love-hate relationship. I'm bummed that I'm missing it, but at the same time, if I were to miss races, I would rather miss outdoors than Supercross. Just 'cause,
Yeah.
dude, like it's just so much like more brutal.
Yeah.
Like you just are like, at the end of the day, you're just like so exhausted.
And think about the amount of work that you've put in the days leading up to it. And it's just every single week
Yeah.
is the same grind,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
Every week.
Yeah. I remember going to the first year I did the Nationals. I was fucking so pumped. I was like, this is the best. I've watched these on TV my entire life. I've come from Australia. I got to Budds Creek and I watched the motos in the fucking semi. I was like, I don't need to be out there, dude. It's fucking way
Dude.
too hot. I'm dehydrated. Like, and then
Yeah.
a part of my 15-year-old self died
Yeah.
because I was like, you are a piece of shit.
Yeah, Budds Creek is bad too because it's in that hole. The
Yeah.
start of Budds Creek, and they used to have like one of the years I got a podium there. They had the podium down at the end of the start straight, still in the valley,
Oh,
and so you start like
be
the 15
suffocating.
minutes of staging is
Yeah.
you're just sweating and
Yeah.
down in the hole. Then you come back from sight lap and you're just like let's drop the gate so I can get some airflow. Like I just need some airflow right now. There's nothing. It's still, it's just hot. And then the podium after. So it's basically like an hour of you just like suffering in the heat, and then the moto in the middle of it. It's just like, dude, this is
and that's why everyone's
ridiculous.
like, oh, we need a national in Texas. Do ya?
That's why they don't
Do
now,
ya?
because the last year
Yeah.
Freestone, like guys were like passing out, like all, I remember like they that moto inside the outdoors
Yeah.
series
Yeah.
that Troy Adamitis did. or
Shout out
whatever.
to Troy
Yeah.
Adamitis.
Dude, he does
Fuck,
good
that shit
stuff.
was good.
Yeah,
I miss it.
that and Behind the Dream, Supercross Behind the,
Yeah.
dude, all those were so sick.
Yeah.
But that
That series.
outdoors, yeah, they did it, and like Metcalf like pulled off the track and just fell over, like
Yeah.
just done, like he
Yeah.
was just passed. They had to like pick him up and carry him to the thing, and the last year it was at WW in Florida too. A bunch of guys got heat exhaustion. Sexton got all messed up. He got heat exhaustion, couldn't stop throwing up or whatever. Like, dude, it's just like people don't you don't get it outdoors. Like outdoors, you gotta respect outdoors. Like the ones you show up and it's like cool in the morning and stuff. You're like, oh,
Like a
this is
Washougal.
so
Bro,
Washougal,
even
yeah,
Washougal was hot this year.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
last year.
yeah.
Like that wasn't fucking.
No,
that wasn't cool.
It's outdoors is serious, dude. That's what I was hoping when they added the 3 SMX races, that they would take away like 3 outdoor races. But they only took away one outdoor
yeah,
race. So
yeah.
I was like, it's kind of not really enough. Like we need maybe like one less Supercross and like 2 less outdoors, maybe. Like just
My man speaking real Supercross only.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm fine with it.
I mean, I've gotten to, like, now with how much I've been hurt and missed outdoors, I'm better at Supercross now. And I've kind of always been, I guess, a little bit more of a Supercross rider. I've always been like more like smooth and technical and stuff, where outdoors you kind of just have to send it.
Yeah.
And I don't send it as hard now as I used to.
Yeah.
So I'm just better at Supercross now too. So like, yeah, I'm I'm a huge proponent of Supercross and then the overseas Supercross races.
Yeah.
Like doing that program, like I get it. You're probably not gonna find a factory team that's gonna allow that, but like I'm a big supporter of that. Like all those races, they look some of them look a little janky, but they look like you get paid to go over to Paris
Yeah.
or Italy or wherever and race those races.
And you just get to live a bit.
It's just cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to go to Paris,
Yeah.
you get to
And
eat
they're
some
not
good
as
food.
serious. You're not like stressing the whole time. Like you get to go over there and just do those races and they're more chill and stuff. It looks like anybody who does them has a good time. And
Yeah.
then especially that you're doing that while the guys over here just suffering every weekend doing
Yeah.
outdoors. Like I'm a pretty big supporter of like that program. If I can find whenever I get towards like the end of my career, if I can find a
Oh, you'll get
setup
it.
that I
You'll
can
get
do
it.
that with, I'm fully about that because like
Yeah.
that's just that looks really good.
Yeah. Well, here's something for you. I've been thinking about this. Now that the two series are like together and everyone's cool, how would you feel about like A1, maybe second Supercross, then you go first round of outdoors, and then you go back and forth? I feel like
They used to do that a while ago. They did
years
that
ago,
like
yeah,
a long time
yeah,
ago. They
yeah.
did they did a version of that.
How would you feel about that now?
It would be
I think there's
It
a
would be
lot
interesting.
of I think there's a lot of potential, like a lot of the things that you said, like think about the ways that it would change how you had to train.
yeah.
You wouldn't, because you get so routine and it's such a grind. It's like K2 this day, and then it's just like you get in this flow and then it stops and then you go to outdoors. Then you've got to get into that grind. I feel like it would just kind of make this like overall picture of being a motocross and supercross rider, and it wouldn't be so like you're in a box for this long and then you're in a box for this. I feel like it just could kind of break a few
Yeah.
of those patterns.
I would be for that, I feel like, because I adapt really quickly, like for anything, just for when I get back on when we start riding Supercross again, by the end of the first week,
Yeah.
Tony's like, we could go race.
Yeah.
He's like, you are good to go. Like I'm immediately good at whatever
Well, you're
when
a
we
professional.
start. Well, that's just like I'm like really quick at adapting to new tracks or learning stuff. Some guys take longer to adapt, or like once they get or they come on late in the season,
Yeah.
like maybe like a Webb
Or
or
Shimoda.
whatever. Yeah, or Shimoda. Like there's guys like a Webb, and then there's guys like a Roxon who's like sprint speed, straight up,
Let's
straight fast
fucking go.
immediately.
Yeah.
Where I'm more towards like a Roxon, just like body type, just how like I'm kind of just my
Built.
muscles,
Yeah.
like fast twitch muscle fibers and slow twitch muscle fibers or whatever. Like I'm more similar to like a Roxon in that way. So for me, like the switching up or like
wouldn't be
doing
a
stuff
big
like that,
deal.
it wouldn't be
Yeah.
as big a deal to me, and it would actually probably benefit me because I'm like I get burnt out riding the same stuff. So like if I could just have a like even this Supercross season when it rained a little bit and we went out to Rhino and rode a sand track a couple days. I was like, dude, this is sick. Like then it made the next time I rode Supercross
More fun.
like more fun, and it made that day riding outdoors more fun.
Yeah.
And it kind of just a quick switch up makes it like keeps you on your toes instead of just getting in, okay, yeah, the same tracks, the same ruts are forming in the same tracks and the same spots and the same conditions. Like you get in that flow, and then it's like, okay, today we're riding the 450 outdoors.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, oh, okay, like then there's stuff to actually work on, it feels like. So then it feels like you're more present and you're more focused on riding, and then the day is fun, and then it goes by super quick, and then like so I'm about that. Like
I think it could do a lot for even just you think about the championship, like especially with Jet. You know, I think this year he like bled a bunch of points 3/4 of the way through the season. But imagine if he didn't have those bad rounds.
Yeah.
It's like fucking wrapping the series up 4 rounds to go.
Yeah.
And then it's like, who knows? Well, I guess outdoors, the DNF. But like just to have the championships both building at the same time and like different guys doing different things. I don't know.
It would be, and I think it would be cool too, like that maybe guys like me or guys like guys that are more Supercross specific or outdoor specific, like it's like for Supercross, if you're focused on Supercross, you can almost go to outdoors and have a fun weekend. Have like okay, like I'm focused on Supercross, like I'm gonna almost have a weekend of like just a mental, like almost decompress weekend. It's still a race weekend, but it's like maybe you're not attacking it the same way you are gonna like web late season Supercross. He's gonna go into that race with a completely different mindset than he would if you threw an outdoor race in 3 rounds from the end. He would go into that outdoor race and, you know, whatever. It's just, let's just get through the day and let's just try to just, you know, do whatever. But he's approaching those like, you approach those with a different mindset. And like, it could be like, it would obviously benefit some guys and not other guys, but like, it would be interesting. I'm at this point, I mean, I don't feel like I don't feel like we need more racing, but different racing I would be fine with. Like, I don't think we need, like, I don't think anybody, especially in the 450 class.
31's enough.
Nobody's asking for more races. I promise you. By the time those, like last year when the SMX races, they were like, "Oh, the SMX, we're paying you guys more. Everybody's happy." It's like, dude, no, nobody's like showing up the SMX races like really stoked. If you're a 450 guy and you're making every race, you are blown out. I haven't even made every race of a 250 season, and still like. After a Supercross season, I'm like, ugh, or an outdoor season alone, I'm tired. Like, but if you're making every race of a 450 Supercross and outdoors, whatever it is, 28 or whatever races before you get to the, before you get to the SMX races, it's like, dude, like you're fried. Like everybody's like, oh, well, you know, NBA guys, they play more and this and that. They play way more, but it's just like, it's.
You know what I say to that? There's no fucking bench in moto.
Yeah.
You can't sit on the bench at all.
You can't rely on your teammates. You can't be like, oh, I had an off game. That's one thing that like is weird about like so foreign in team sports to me is that you can have the best game of your life and you guys get waxed. If you're a defensive lineman on a football team, you can absolutely kill it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if your offense doesn't score any points at all. Like it doesn't like, I mean, it's a team thing. That's the kind of the whole thing behind team sports, but like, it's so different in moto. Like that just doesn't, I would get so frustrated being like, I played so good tonight and we got beat by 40 points. Like, can you imagine that? Like that to me, that's like, if you ride really good,
you win.
even if you fall, like even if you go down, but you're like, you know what, I rode really good today. That's probably for most, like if you're a top guy and even if you go down, you're still probably getting a top 5. Even if you if you ride good that night, no matter what happens, you get taken out by someone, you go down, whatever. If you ride good, you're probably going to finish top 5. And like, that's, I mean, in team sports, it's win or lose basically. So that would piss me off to no end. That's why I liked anything team sports related. I'm just like, dude,
Did you ever play any team sports?
I played basketball in like 5th and 6th grade before I was homeschooled.
And you were just like saying it.
I was pretty good at it, but like that's what it was so just weird because like me and Gas recently just started playing paintball. So like it's the same thing in that, like in paintball, like
you got a team.
I'll have a game when we'll get crushed, but I'll kill 4 out of the 5 people. And I'm like, dude, I played everybody. We go back, everybody on the team's all bummed, dude. Like we gotta like start, like we gotta rethink this. And I'm like, I played good. You guys speak for yourselves. Like I played good. So like, I don't know what you're talking about. So that's that's how I would look at it. But that's, I mean, I guess you can't really, that's why team sports aren't really my thing. Is like, that doesn't really work for me. Cause I'm like, when everything is on me, it's all up to me basically. Once you're on the track, it's all me. So it's like if you do good or do bad, it's just you.
Yeah, and moto, it has a mix. Like you can't go racing without your team.
No,
like you can't build your bike. Like there's all the stuff you can't do. But you're right. Like the team gets you to a point, and then you're like,
even like
cheers, boys.
That's how it is. It's like your team is obviously important. Your bike's obviously all that stuff is super important. But once the gate drops,
that's you, bro.
You are on your own. Nobody is gonna help you. Nobody. Like your mechanic's gonna give you lap times and
Breathe, bro.
breathe, and like, dude, sometimes when Tony puts me out a pit board, it just pisses me off. He's like focus, or he'll do just short words like that. I'm like, dude, I am focused. I'm pushing as hard as I can right now. I'm doing everything I can. I'm like, I don't know what else you want me to do. He's like, focus, better lines. I'm like, where are the better lines at? Like, that's just like what goes on through my head sometimes when it's like deep in a moto, or I'm trying to pull away, or I'm trying to catch somebody and I'm not, or I'm making more mistakes and it's just pissing me off. And I'm like, dude, then he gives me a regroup or a charge or something like that. I'm like, dude, I am charging as hard as I can right now. Like, what do you want me to do? But yeah, once you're on the track, your team, other than your bike just running from your mechanic building it and everybody building it, other than that, everything else is on you. Like, that's so it's about as
individual
as it gets. Maybe just fighting would be maybe the only other thing.
You're so in your own world too. Like, even the fact when the helmet goes on, no one can see you. You've got, like, you literally have a mask.
Yeah. And
then you just like fully go into that world, you know? I think fighting's a good analogy.
Yeah. That's like, but fighting, you can see when somebody's hurting in fighting. Like, you can see them kind of like, oh, that hurt. Like, that guy just kicked me in the wherever, and that hurt, or they stumble, or like a little, like in moto, you never really know. Like you said, you can't see their face. You can't even see your eyes because most of us wear some sort of tinted lenses. So you can't see really anything. You got to go based off of a little bit of body language, and that's pretty much it. So you can't like tell really. I don't know. Yeah, it is. It's weird like that.
Do you remember watching Seattle this year when Ricky was like, "Oh man, Cooper's struggling. He's got arm pump."
Yeah,
that's the guy that can see.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be, you know.
I do remember that, and I was like,
so good.
I was like, how can he tell that he has arm pump? Like, he was like, oh, he's what did he said something about, like, oh, he sat down like a foot before this section, or he's riding farther back on the bike to put less pressure on his arms or something. And I was like, dude, like, I'd like to think I know something about dirt bikes, and I didn't even notice that. I'm like, so that's what like who is good about that, or who is, both of my, like, Raynard, whenever I train with him, and Rhino, they were both like, some days I'll be riding and he's like Robbie would just come up and be like, "You feel okay?" And I'm like, yeah, I feel fine. He's like, something looks like, just be careful. If you want to call it a day early today, just like let me know, because like you just look a little off today. And I'm like, what?
That's cool.
What looks off? Like, what looks off? Like, I feel like I'm dialed. He's like, you just like a little bit of this or a little bit, and I'm like, dude, how do you see that? Like, I don't even feel what you're talking about. Like, and you can see it in my riding. So that's what when you're a trainer and all you do is watch guys ride dirt bikes, you probably like it's gonna translate into, I can feel everything about the bike, and I can feel, and anytime like my tire pressure's a half a pound high, I can tell that. I can tell all that stuff. But once I start, if I were to be a trainer, it would transfer from feel and everything on the bike to watching, to the visual thing. Yeah, and that's what Rhino's good at too. Like, he's super good at like he'll come back from, and he'll be like, "Hey, did you watch the race this weekend or whatever?" Like, whenever we are just practicing, I'll be like, "Did you see the third lap? Did you see Jet enter that corner after the start?" And he got like kind of back, and I'm like, bro. I'm like, no, not really. But I was like, I'm like, just tell me what you want me to work on. Like, just, he's really good at, and he can like tell too, when without even like seeing a lap time, he'll be like, you're like riding good today on a brand new track, whatever. Like, he can just like, you're going fast today, or like whatever. And then Tony's like, yeah, actually your lap times are really fast.
That's fucking one gnarly thing about moto. Like, if you took, like, just any like local fast guy, or you just go to a Glen Helen during winter when it's Supercross time and there's not that many pros out there, and you look at some of the dudes, you're like, they fucking rip. and then
crazy.
you get on the track or like McAdoo or Tickle, and it's like, oh no, he actually rips. Like
That's what
that dude's fucking slow, but they look so fast and so good.
It's like certain styles, like, dude, I mean, just for example, just Barsha. Like, you watch him ride,
Like,
is
there's no one faster.
possible
Yeah,
way
no
that
one's
you could
faster.
ride a dirt bike faster than that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then guys do. And then they look like they're giving half as much effort. Me and my buddy were watching the last World Cup race the other day, and we were like, the downhill.
Yep,
And
yep,
we were
yep.
like, that's how, like, that Loic Bruni, he looks like, and he won by like 3 seconds when we were watching, and he looked like he was giving so less effort. Bike was working so easy, and he won by like 3 seconds. The other guys they're tucking the front, they're pushing so hard, and that's what I'm kind of better at that now. Like, I can, like, if we go out there, I can see that, and I can tell like guys that are just revving the piss out of their bike or whatever, and they look like, you watch them, and it's like, dude, there is no like I go faster than that guy. I go 2 seconds a lap faster than that guy. Like, that guy is ripping. And then I go out there and just cruise and just, it's not even close. So that's what it is weird like that.
I would love to know. If I ever get rich, I'm just going to put like $10 million into like researching the brains of people like you and James.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like, something is weird that you guys have that I don't have. But it feels the same.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm ripping at Glen Helen, I feel the same as when you're ripping at Glen Helen. The difference is one of us is actually ripping at Glen Helen and one of us is not, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, what is it? Is it in the eyes? Is it like, there's got to be something, because I'm sure it feels the same.
Yeah.
But whatever's going on in my brain is not going on in your brain.
Yeah. I mean, I have days like that too, though, that I'm like, there's days when I don't think, like, I'm like, there is, like, just the other day we were talking about, like, a lot of I did motos with Jason a lot this preseason.
Yeah.
And dude, like, he is so strong at the practice track, like, during the week. I'm like, there's no way that anybody will go, there's no way anybody should be faster than me on this track right now. I'm killing this track. And he's like a second faster. And I'm like, that's a lot on a Supercross track. And I'm like, dude, like, first off, I don't even understand how he's faster than me. But then how is he not winning every single race? Like, which, I mean, whatever, it's practice track versus race. But that, like, there's days when I'm like, dude, like, I am ripping today and he's a second faster.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're just like, where, how,
where,
why?
how?
Like,
And I watch and I'm like, dude, like, I still am, I'm watching and I'm like, I don't get it. But then Rhino's like, well, he's like, he's a 10th faster there.
yeah.
And then he's half a 10th faster there.
Yeah.
And then he's 2/10 faster in the whoops. And then that's a second. And then it's like, it's not even like, unless you're really experienced. I mean, even if you are, it's hard. You can't even see the time. Like, you can't even like see the, that's why that new like ghost thing that they started doing where they can like ghost riders
so cool.
is sick,
Yeah.
especially for people who don't know that much, like who like are new to the sport or haven't been watching it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Like
It helps.
religiously.
Yeah.
It's nice. So
There was Jet at the, like the big quad over thing that they had at Parla.
Yeah.
He was easy half a second faster.
Yeah.
That was that was one of the only visible things where you could see. I think Supercross with whoops, like A1, that they had the 2 whoop sections, and like you could actually see a bit of speed in whoops. I feel like the entry and the exit's pretty easy to see, and then also like where if there's a corner after, which like normally there is, like what whoop are they chopping the throttle to like decelerate, but that big quad thing, like the way that he was going over that, there was easy half a second, 4/10 in that, and it's so rare to actually be able to see that. And then you go to like fucking Formula One and MotoGP and shit, and you're just like, how? You cannot see the
can't
speed.
See anything there. Like, and they're within hundreds, thousands of seconds. They qualified who at like the last F1 race tied for like second or third, like the first time ever, or it was first. It was the Mercedes driver,
it was
the
Russell,
younger one,
it was
and
Russell
Verstappen.
and Verstappen.
They tied
exactly
for first.
The same.
Exactly the same. The 1000th the same. That's like
yeah.
the third time that's ever happened. It's like, dude, like,
well, I think Ricardo
that's crazy.
got 5th on the weekend in quali, and he was like nothing away from pole.
Yeah.
But that stuff there, like, how do you see the speed? I guess the beauty of those tracks is that they're just tracks that don't really change. Like grip levels come up and down and temperature comes up and down, but like you kind of always have the ballpark of like this is how fast a car can go around it. But for us, like we just don't have that luxury. And the track gets better, like a bit of moisture. Like what lap's the track going to be the best? Is it like 5, 6, 7?
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, one turn, one guy blowing one turn out could be a second and a half just in one turn. Like if you go over the berm and you mess up and like you could lose a second and a half based off of if a lapper in front of you goes in and blows it out. And it's just like that. But that I have thought about that, like just how racing cars or how racing an on-road sport would be compared to like if it would be like if there's such a small difference to where it would be more stressful because you would have to be more consistent, or if it's just easier to be more consistent, so it's almost less stressful. So like I don't know how that would.
That's actually a fucking good question.
I've wondered like just how that would if you have to like just be locked in, so you're running within thousandths of a second every lap because you have to, or if you just do your thing and you're just within thousandths of a second every lap just because the track doesn't change and it's based on you slowly get slower as your tires wear out or whatever, but still you're a thousandth of a second, you're half a thousandth slower this lap than last lap because your just based off your tires or whatever. Like it's not really like I've wondered that just based off.
Yeah, and I wonder like because you guys can get to a point, and I feel maybe every moto dude, whether you're good or not good, like, I mean, I've had times where last year I was training for World Vets, and I did like 80 motos for the year, which for just a regular person, that's a lot of motos.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I felt really good.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt so comfortable, and I felt like I could go fast.
Yeah.
And the things that I felt like I could max myself out in a sense. And I wonder how much that translates to like F1 or like what's a send feel like for Max Verstappen? Because it's like for you to send it, you've got to send it speed, and then you've got like a moto speed that's like a 30. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Like, are you just going in and fucking, like just knowing the exact amount of grip that you've got and just knowing the edge of your tire and the same? I'm sure that you do, but is it as raw as how it would feel to you?
Yeah.
Because it's so, I mean, you go to like any track, right? We brake at the 150. We brake at the 50. This is a third gear turn. This is a wide open turn. This is a no lift turn. Like everything is so like, it's so in the zone,
and they know
in the
that
pocket.
before
Dude.
they like just show those guys like visualizing it, or they drive it on the simulator, and it's the same. Like it is the same. They're
Curbs
like, okay,
are the same height.
I'm third gear in this turn. This is a third gear turn all day. Fresh tires, old tires, doesn't matter. It's a third gear turn. This is a fourth gear turn every time. And I wonder if they actually just lock in with that, or if they actually use that data, or if they just go based off of feel. Because we just go based off of feel. Some guys like
there's no braking zones for you guys.
And
markers.
And Barsha, he can ride the bike in first or second gear and be super, super fast, where guys like Jed will ride the bike in fourth gear and lug it everywhere and be just as fast or faster. So it's like, and braking in different places, like, we all brake in generally the same area. Because that's where the braking bumps form is where we basically start braking. But that's, it's not, I try to compare those, and I wonder, like, because everybody's like, oh, like, you think action sports or, I guess, what's the gnarliest motorsport, action sport, whatever, it's F1. Like, that's just the pinnacle of pretty much any sports. Like, that's just the top. Like, those guys they get paid the most. Like, that's the highest speeds, whatever. Like, that's pretty much one of the gnarliest.
Bro,
so I just wonder how that compares.
Want to fucking correct you there. Did you see Brad Binder? Can you actually look that up? There was a thing the other day. Brad Binder went like 360 Ks an hour kilometers an hour, like
In
220 miles on the MotoGP bike on
Really?
the KTM. Yeah, dude, 366.1 kilometers an hour.
So what is that in miles per hour?
Just you have to do the conversion. 227.5, my guy.
In a race?
Fuck all that. What's the top speed of an F1 car? Like, what's the fastest?
I don't even know if they get over 200, to be honest. I don't think they get over 200.
They do in 300, I'm pretty
Really?
sure, in F1. There we go. 374.
Okay, so
220.
230. I didn't
Okay,
think
yeah, no, all right, you were right.
their average speed on a typical circuit's closer to 200. That's what I didn't think, because Indy cars go.
What's the top speed of an Indy car?
Indy cars they'll go like 280 or something. They're ridiculously fast.
Bro.
When they crash, those guys die. Like that's gnarly.
Well, they're in a plane without wings.
Yeah.
So
240.
okay,
Over 240, but they're at 240 all the
the
time.
whole time, yeah.
That's like they're just maxed out the whole time. That's crazy. The downforce on this thing's got to be nuts. But then a F1 car is just that much more gnarly.
Yeah, well,
But
can you actually pull up M Perion's downhill run from this weekend? I actually haven't watched all of it. You were just mentioning the downhill this
we
weekend.
just watched it. We just watched the.
I'm fully
yeah,
seen
the dude who won this weekend.
Bro.
He won by like 4.8 seconds.
Yeah, I haven't
or
watched the
something.
run. I want to watch the
It's
run.
gnarly. We watched it. We watched it last night.
But yeah, like have you ever been on a road race bike? You ever done a track day?
No, just like Groms and stuff. I've never. I rode like when Cowie came out with their version of the 125 Grom or whatever.
Yep.
I rode a bunch with the. They had a release of it, and they had the good superbike guys like Jonathan
Ray.
He was out there, and we were like battling because he was good on like a pit bike.
Well,
So,
he
like,
rips on a moto, dude.
So we were like we were battling on the Groms. And then we went and battled on the dirt on the pit bikes, and it was sick because like we were just
He's
like
a cool,
you could
cool
tell
guy.
different. Like I would put my foot out every now and then on a street bike, and like that's not right. But then he would like really lean with his shoulder on a dirt bike and like not put his foot out. So like I could like it was funny but we were both fast. But like it was just funny that watching you could easily tell which of us did what sport. But it was
It's funny. I have ridden a bunch with Casey Stoner. And he was like, before he was MotoGP, he did flat, like dirt track.
Yeah.
And man, you ride with him and his lines and entry speed and just like corner speed in general, throttle control, it's so different to what like a normal moto guy would do. And then Troy Herfoss rode with him. He does the baggers now. He races for Indian here. And same deal, just apex. Everything's an apex.
That's the thing is it's like that's another thing on a moto track that like even like that's I remember getting into a fight with some guys at Reynolds one time because they were like I think they were like or no, it was Robbie. I think Robbie was like we were slower and the next day because there were already ruts and Robbie was like, why are you slower? And I was like, well, you got to follow the lines. And he was like, just cut across them. And I was like, dude, you can't just cut across the lines. And then of course he would like gear up and just go do it on his 450 or something where he just like one time. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that for 30 minutes straight. Like you can't. And when all the other guys are taking the lines, it's going to overpower you trying to cut across them. So that's just another thing is like, there's obviously there's a clear. I can go look at a track and immediately see the fastest way around the track. It's like how you would break down any road course or whatever. You can say, okay,
apex here,
apex here. Go outside in here, inside out here, whatever. Like you can break it down, but then how it develops is not going to be nothing. It's not. You can start the track out like that, but it doesn't matter.
Once you get
it's gonna
fucking 60 goons.
It doesn't matter. It's gonna form how it forms, and then you just gotta ride it how it is. Like some turns are going to be going in on the far inside and exiting on the far inside, and then you're going to need to be on the inside of the next turn. So you're going to have to cross over down this. Like it's just there's a fast way, and that's what like when like you go ride a brand new track, like all these guys that you can go out to Paula and be the first one on the track, dude. You could ride that track. You could ride Paula so fast doing all the outside ins or just ripping the berms around the outside. You could rip that track. I don't think I've ever once been the first guy on the track at Paula, but you could rip that so fast. But then how the track actually forms is like if the line goes all the way up the inside and then goes straight to the outside in the next turn, you got to follow it. I mean, you can't jump out of it.
And then if the up ramp's fucked,
yeah,
out of that turn,
Yep.
it makes that line pointless because you're like, well, I'm not going to hit that because there's a huge kicker. That's me going over the bars and into hospital. So now I can't take the fast line that I was going to take.
It's so like that's why I feel like it would be more simple in like the road sports because of that reason. But then at the same time, they're separated by like 1,000.
Yeah,
like
just
a thousandth of a second. So that's why it's like I don't know. That's why I have that question because I don't know if it's harder to do a consistent lap or if you just do your thing and then you can run two almost identical laps back to back, and that's not really even a like you don't have to. It's not like you're I'm locked. I'm driving good today or I'm riding good today. Like it's just like that was. I mean, I just had 2 pretty good laps, like, and they were within 1,000th of a second or something like that. That never happens in moto, really. So it's just, I don't know.
I feel like F1 is autism and moto is ADD. I think that's pretty much like, I probably have like a bit of autism going on. I can sit in a car sim and drive for 14 hours and just do the same fucking track like Spa. I can just drive Spa all day, every day, and like I know all my fucking lines. I know every gear. I can do that. That's fucking autism. Like that's what Max Verstappen. He's autistic. Yeah, like that's what that dude's got going. Hayden Deegan, you crazy ADD. Yeah. So I think it's like two mental fucking mental spectrums. Yeah. One leads itself to that, and MotoGP is probably like. You got to have ADD and autism.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Yeah, that's what I mean, that is like Pastrana. I mean, he's super ADD, but he's a beast. Yeah,
you need
he's like, that's how, so, I mean, I feel like a lot of us moto, I'm chill. Like, I can go and hang out on the couch and stuff and relax, and where, certain guys are like, I need to do, even just my roommate, he's always trying to do stuff or always trying to, I'm like, hey, I can relax. I don't need to go do stuff. But still, there's that little bit of just that little bit of ADD. I see it every now and then. Yeah. Like when I'm just certain days when one day I just woke up the other day before my run, a week ago, or 2 weeks before my run, and I was just like, I'm gonna run 14 miles today. Or I'm gonna beat my longest run.
I think
my
longest run. A half marathon.
My longest run was a half marathon. It was 12 and a half or 13 or something. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just gonna run today. I just Forrest Gumped it.
I just felt like running.
I just felt like running. That's literally. I told Riley the night before as we got in bed. I was like, I think I'm gonna go on the long run tomorrow. She's like, okay, and I was like, no, like a long run tomorrow,
like 3 hours.
I'm gonna start and have no plan of returning. I'll return when my legs give it, which was about 9 or 10 miles because I didn't even take a water. I didn't take anything. I just went. I just went out and I went 5.5 miles out and then turned around.
Yeah.
And 5.5 miles back. So I got back to the house at 11 miles with no water. And I was like, let me grab a snack and get a drink real quick. But I was like, my longest run's 12 and a half or 13. I was like, I'm not going to go to 11 miles and not I'm not going to do this much work and not break beat my longest run. So I was like, dude, my last mile, I would run 100 feet and then walk. Run 100 feet and then walk.
What,
dude, that's
what pace did you do?
Do you know? The first 11 miles was an 8:15 or no, the first was 7:45, I believe.
Okay. So
it was pretty.
So you were sending.
I was quick for the first at the first, but then once I started once I got behind on water or food and I started cramping up, then because then I think my overall pace for the whole run was 9:15 or something.
Yeah.
But it was just because my last 3 miles were run 200 feet and then walk.
Yeah.
And then run 200 feet and then walk. And then dude, I was literally that messed me up for days.
Yeah,
too,
really?
I was like, I need to be more for that.
My wife, she just did a half marathon on Sunday. because she's doing a full marathon in like a couple weeks in Australia. So we've been like training for it together. And I got fucking sick a few weeks ago and I just had the worst cough.
Yeah.
Just want to go, I'm not sick. Everything's fine. Worst fucking cough ever. So I didn't do the full run, but I was like, all right, I'll meet you at, we do kilometers. So I think it's 22 Ks basically for the half marathon. And I was like, go do 10 Ks and then run past the house. Like, so go 5 Ks, come back, and then I'll run like the next 12 Ks with you.
Yeah.
Fucking funny, eh? Like, cause she's never done anything like that. Like, she's competed in jiu-jitsu and shit, but never done running. Yeah. And I signed her up for Christmas. She talks shit. I like running.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to do a marathon this year, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, anyone can do a marathon. And I was like, oh, okay, fucking sweet. So Dude. Christmas, she got a marathon. But yeah, I did the last 12 Ks and she was just on a fucking emotional roller coaster. Yeah.
It is gnarly. Like, that's what, like, I like running too. I like it better than really cycling just because I feel like I can get.
Cycling just takes too long, bro.
It just takes too long. And like in a 30-minute run, I can run and I feel like I accomplished, like, I feel like I got stuff done. My heart rate's up in the 150s to 160. I can't hardly run with my heart rate lower than like 130. I can road bike at a pretty high pace and still be like 110 heart rate. And it doesn't feel like you need your heart rate at like the base zones like 120 to 140.
Yeah,
so you need it there to really get anything. My heart rate's pretty damn high. It's just starting to get like lower now. Like, it's just starting to get hard for me to get into the 200s. But
What's your
for a while
resting?
there, my resting is the lowest I think it's ever been is like in the low 30s.
Fuck. Yeah, right.
That's what my like
the spectrum.
The spectrum's huge. I'll go from low 30s in the morning and then on the Supercross track an hour later I'll be 210.
Really?
Like it's huge. I'm not quite that high anymore.
I heard Alessi was like that, like crazy high heart rate.
Yeah.
I don't. I get like, I'll be like 180.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much like, not that I'm ever full fucking tilt. But
yeah. I can't get it higher than, the only time I can get it that high is riding.
Really?
And I think it's because I hold you hold your breath. I think that's the only, like, I can sprint, like I can be on a road bike or I can be on a run and I can sprint or do like gnarly thing that I do sometimes is like sled sprints, like either push or pull a sled and do those. And I can be like literally feeling like I'm gonna pass out and I'm like 186.
Yeah.
And then I can look at a Supercross track. Like before the gate drops on a Supercross track, my heart rate's in the 160s.
Yeah.
Sitting on the gate.
That's just anxiety.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense.
But like then gate drops and it's immediately up to the 180s and into
Can you feel it when you ride? Like it's fucking pumping?
Well, I mean, yeah, but you're so
in and
focused
out.
on other stuff, and there's so much hitting, like you're hitting whoops, so it's not that noticeable. But that's what I think it's breathing that just the lack of breathing. There's nothing else I can do. I can run as fast as I can, and my legs will blow out before my legs will give out before. Like in the long run that I did, my like cardio level, I was fine. Like there was no point throughout the whole run, even when I was running like pretty quick pace at the beginning, there was no point when my cardio was a problem. It was just later in the run, as I started to cramp up or whatever from not drinking or eating. Then my legs started, or my calves like just quit working. I'd start running on my toes or I'd start running like flat footed or whatever. So, but moto's the only thing that I can get my heart rate that high. Like I can push on a road bike until I feel like I can't push any harder, and I can't hardly get my heart rate into the 180s.
Have you? Can you breathe through your nose well?
Not really. Like I don't. That was one of the things whenever I was doing like the kind of like VO2 max test or whatever those tests are. That was one of my weaker zones, I guess, was just breathing.
Yeah.
Was like my muscles were strong, just not getting the oxygen was kind of one of my things. So for a little bit, I used this like breathing machine that would like it was like you have like a cadence and you would have to like breathe in and then it would beep and then breathe out, beep, breathe in and I did that for a little bit to try to, I think, just try to just stretch my lungs out and get them bigger to be able to haul more air to and from but I don't know if it ever fully like helped or whatever. But
Have you ever tried taping your mouth when you sleep? Dude.
Just to force myself to breathe through my nose. I can breathe through my nose when I sleep, but just high heart rate stuff, I can't. I can, but I can't move enough air quick enough. Like I feel like, and two, like maybe right now I might be able to, but I'm the same way. If I get if I get a cold, like I got a cold like 6 weeks ago, and I still have shit in my nose from it. Like I still can't breathe right. So it's like I don't even. If I was doing high heart rate stuff, I wouldn't even try to breathe through my nose.
Do you read much?
Yeah.
Read a book called Breath, but I think it's James Nestor. Can you open a new tab? And I think it's James Nestor. It's called Breathe.
Yeah, Rhino's always giving me books.
Yeah, there you go.
Stuff. Rhino would probably. I'll get it and then I'll read it and I'll give it to Rhino.
This book is really good, dude. So if you go, if you read that, so they did all these fucking crazy studies, man. They reckon it's like basically 50% performance loss of mouth breathing versus nose breathing. So if you're on a cycle bike and you plug your nose basically and only breathe through your mouth, and then if you do the reverse of that and only breathe through your nose, they reckon the difference is just like huge, bro. I think what happens is, so you tape your mouth when you sleep, and for the first 5 minutes you're like blocked up, and it's like it almost gives you anxiety, like you almost feel a little bit claustrophobic. Yeah. But then basically the way that he explains it in the book, like all the studies, and it's probably like a little bit hyperbolic because there's like obviously correlation, causation. It's not always the same thing, but a lot of the health problems that we have these days come from just like not breathing through our nose. And like all the studies of just like the general anatomy and like what you basically supposed to breathe through your nose. So, but if you every night, if you do tape your mouth and then you just start to get the breathing going, fuck, it makes a big difference. And then I can't remember the name of it, but I've got a thing I use. It's like 2 little hooks that like go inside your nose, and then you like tape on the outside, and it just fully opens up.
Yeah. That's like those. There's like breathe right strips that do. That's like similar to that, I'm guessing.
Yeah. But if you do that at night, I think it like really conditions your body to just like more default breathe through your nose.
Yeah.
And I bet doing motos with like your mouth taped up and, like slow motos, just like struggling to breathe and just to really open.
Yeah.
But I think if you're committed to something like that, like at Rhino's little turn track.
Yeah.
And you just did a 30 with your fucking mouth taped up.
That would actually be good. I'll if that book, I'll have him. I'll read it and then I'll have him read it. He'll probably want me to do something. But
there's a ton of studies around it because
it is. Yeah, I mean, breathing. I do struggle definitely with breathing out of my like I can go on a run even a pretty quick pace and I can breathe out of my nose or whatever. But it is like I feel like I use so much effort just to move the air in and out my nose. It's like I almost need bigger nostrils.
Yeah, no, but I think that's the thing is like if you're not doing it all the time. So I think that's where if you tape your nose and then you sleep like that and then you do like, let's say you did your morning row with your mouth taped and only nose breathing. I think because, man, you'll feel it like fucking try it tonight.
Okay.
Like you at the start, you're like, you can't breathe. You're like, fuck, dude, I need to take this tape off.
Yeah.
But 5 minutes and it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's just complete. You just can breathe completely different.
I have noticed that because there's sometimes Charles will do that in the gym. He'll just be like, we'll do like a circuit and then he'll have me run and he'll be like, just nose breathe on the run so you can recover.
It's
like just nose
hard.
Breathe then and nose breathe when you get back before we start the next circuit. Only nose breathe, and you do feel like I feel good doing it. Like once I start doing it, but like at the beginning it sucks. I'm like, dude, I'm just running out of oxygen. Like I feel like I'm tired because I'm just running out of oxygen. I'm not moving enough air with my nose, and I'm like, dude, I'm my shoulders are sore from just sucking in air so hard. I'm like shrugging and
well, that's
everything.
The thing, right? So you're not supposed to breathe here. So they call it like chest breathing. So like when you breathe, it's supposed to be down in your stomach, and like that's what dude. People get like the book's crazy. All the shit he talks about, like just general deformities. He was saying in the book that a lot of like teeth issues come
Yeah.
from breathing. But then I actually just watched a study, like a dude talking about all these studies about like basically human jaw lines. So over the years since we started farming and we started processing our food, and it wasn't basically just like raw meat, like the wheat, to eat wheat before we figured out to fucking soak them, break them down,
Yeah.
grind them up. You'd have to like eat through the hard shell of a lot of foods and fruits and meats and shit. So basically, like since the invention of farming and food processing, they reckon that's also why our teeth aren't straight anymore, because you're really not fucking using them to like actually chew anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's probably like a bunch of stuff going on, but yeah, the whole nose breathing thing is just
That's
like a
I mean, there's probably so much stuff like that like little things like that can
just
make a difference.
optimizing, eh?
Yeah,
Like,
it's just like that's why like it's, but just like things that you don't think would be important like that. Like that's just something that you wouldn't think would be that important. Maybe I'm sure it might make a bigger difference for certain guys than others, but I mean, that's probably gonna make a difference for pretty much everybody who does it. You'll probably notice at least something. So
well, the
that's what-
cool thing about, I think it's the cool thing about being an athlete. Like I'd say this to friends that are athletes. I'm like, you're professionally selfish.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Like if you can get away with being professionally selfish for like
Yeah.
a certain part of your career, like everyone's encouraging you to do what's best for you.
Yeah.
You need this? Go do that. You need to go to the sauna? You need a massage? You need to go to Doc G's? Go do that.
Yeah.
You need to fucking tape your mouth up for 45 minutes a day to make you breathe better? Fucking let's
Great.
go. You
Do
know,
it.
like
Yeah.
you professionally get to be selfish. And it's
that's
like,
it.
you can, if you look at it from that approach, it's like your body is like your body and your performance is just a game in a sense. You know, like the same way with its YouTube analytics and fucking in social media like for us, you know, you can look at all these different things and pull apart the pieces to the puzzle and just optimize.
Yeah, that's what I kind of have just done, at least for certain things, because I just moving from like Oklahoma and Robbie's to now out here with Charles and with Rhino, like I kind of had just like, we kind of had to relook at a lot of things, and it mostly was probably more so technique stuff than like just technique stuff on the bike than much else, because my fitness has usually always been pretty good. It's never been an issue enough to need to like change a lot of stuff. We started with Charles working on a little bit more like flexibility stuff, and then kind of the same with Rhino doing yoga and stuff like that. But it was more so technique stuff that we we did kind of have like a whole relook or which it wasn't like we all got together and did that. It just kind of like,
that's just
Rhino would we would just show up to the track, and Rhino would be like, okay, today we're going to work on these things. And then him and Charles would talk. And then if Rhino was like, okay, we're working on this, but I think maybe his lower back is a little weak because he's activating these muscles now instead of hunching his back and using more upper back, he's using lower. So then in the gym, we're doing other stuff and we're working the same muscles as I was with Rhino that day, just now in the gym not on the bike. So they would link up and do that stuff, and it kind of worked out. It was like a pretty easy stuff, but it went from working certain things to like a pretty big change, I guess. But that's what it wasn't like when I started working with Rhino, it wasn't so much that I wasn't doing that same stuff with Robbie. It was like we were doing the same stuff, and he was telling me the same like elbows up, don't dip my shoulder in the turns and stuff, just things like that. But we didn't really work on like a flat back very often. And that's is Rhino's whole huge thing. Is like,
but it's
is
just
like
the generation we
hips
come from.
So that's what is kind of like different about working with Rhino, and it's like that's what whenever I started working with Rhino, I was still talking to Robbie and everything, and I still do, but he was just like, I was just talking to him about what was different basically, and I was like, I'm able to actually keep my elbows up a little bit more and do the things better that you were trying to get me to do and that you were telling me to do, because it was almost like our approach wasn't quite, or I needed to do this, I needed to unlock my hips a little bit more in order to then keep my elbows up a little bit more. It was like I was like, dude, the things that you were telling me to do and to work on, and you would ride and show me how to do them. I was like, I'm actually now able to kind of do those things, but just I had to do this
to do that
in order to do it. And because whenever I would do like just trying to ride more with my elbows up or whatever, like you think it's easy, but like it just felt awkward, or just something I wasn't able to consistently do it. But then if I worry about maybe my lower back or popping my chest up first, well then it's easier for me to keep my elbows, whatever it is. Like there was just, I was talking to him about things after I started training with Rhino. And I was like, the things you were trying to get me to do that you would tell me every single day to do. And I would just like, certain days were better than others, but I never really could get it down consistently. I feel like I'm getting it a little bit more consistently now because I changed this. And he was like, oh, that's actually like it's good for him to know as a trainer. Cause he was like, it's actually good, because there were multiple of us that would train with Robs that were kind of doing similar stuff. And he would go on this every day telling us, don't dip your shoulder, don't do this, do like whatever. And there was like the whole, we were focusing on the actual, if elbows were the problem, we were focusing on elbows instead of maybe focusing on hips. And then in that focusing on, that would make the elbows easier.
Automatically kind of does it.
Or just automatically. Yeah. So that's what I was talking to him about, some of that stuff. I was like, cause that's what I was, whenever I started training with Rhino, that's what I was like, did we ever like really focus on like hip stuff, or did you think my like hips and back were fine? Or what were and we were just talking about shit like that. And he was like, oh, that's actually good to know, because some of these guys are kind of struggling with the same stuff that you struggle with, and they are kind of like inconsistent at it as well. So I think it just gave him some other ideas on how to maybe just approach training kids, and not always, okay, elbows are the problem, or feet are the problem. Okay, then we need to focus on feet.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you need to focus on something else, and then that'll make it to where it takes less weight off your feet, so you're able to move your feet around easier, or whatever.
It's just like golf, right? So like you have a swing thought. So you're trying to achieve this one thing with this one piece of instruction. So like for me, when I play golf, right, like a big thing that I would struggle with is like getting enough angle of attack. So like hit basically ball first, ground later.
Yeah.
I'd have like this perfect looking swing, but I would basically like, it was all my numbers, if I'm like massive golf nerd as well, but all my numbers on the golf sim were like 0, 0, 0. Like I could just get 0.
Yeah.
But to get a negative on a certain thing, and it was like, there's a million ways to say it, but the thing that basically worked for me was like, don't do a backswing, and then don't move your hips.
Yeah.
So, and then everyone in golf is like, oh, you've got to move your hips, and then it fall. So like all of the classical, like this is what you need to do. It would make me get cramped. I'd get behind the ball. I'd fucking sway, and then I'd be like 0. Everything would save with my hands, and everything would be like 0 club face, 0 angle of attack. Like I bring it back to square.
Yeah.
And then I can't even remember what I was like, a fucking Instagram video or something, but it was basically like all of my thought went from my hips to my chest. And so now when I swing a golf club, I'm like basically feel like I can't move on a backswing. You do, because like you can't stay fucking still. And then when I come down, I just feel like I'm throwing my chest around and just like chopping at the ball. And immediately I went from like 0 to like fucking -10.
Yeah.
Off something that was completely unrelated to my hips. So it kind of speaks to what you're saying, like, and I think that's what, that's what coaching is in a sense, is like kind of finding the message. Like, what's the swing thought that I can implant into your brain so that when you're going through the whoops, or when I'm hitting this or whatever, then I think about this and it just fixes all of these chains of problems. And I think with Rhino, I would say my coach is Ben Townley, and it's just the same. Yeah. Like it's him, Rhino, Darren Lawrence, like they all, AJ Catanzaro, like they teach the same
Yeah, all
thing
the same things,
basically,
yeah.
and so much of it is around the hips. And like the one thing that helped my riding the most was fucking Chase Sexton, just telling me that the most pressure he feels on a dirt bike is in his feet. And I blew my fucking brain. And I spent like weeks being like, how? How?
Yeah.
Like to me, I'm like arms, knees, like everything. My whole our generation, probably. I'm a bit older than you, obviously,
Yeah.
but like I feel like the generation we come from was like grip with your knees, elbows up, instead of have your feet here
Yeah.
and then push all of your weight that way with your hips and then put your head that way to compensate. That's
Yeah.
it. And then it flattens out your back. You can't not have your elbows up.
Yeah.
Like you can't be in that. Biomechanically, it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
you know?
you can't. Yeah, that's what the stuff they're teaching nowadays. You can't ride like that and not have one of the things. You can't ride like that and not have your feet on the balls of your feet.
Yep.
You can't ride like that and have your elbows down. It's like kind of almost just like a one. They've kind of narrowed it down to like a one-stop shop
Yep.
to get everything, and then obviously like you're gonna have trouble with other.
Well, it's
things,
very
but
hard to be strong in
yeah,
that position.
Yeah, you
Like,
got to get used to it.
that's why that foundation training is so good.
Yeah.
For guys like Chase and Levi and those dudes doing it.
Yeah.
Is because you're literally like in that position where you're like putting all of your pressure through your feet, and then your hips are going back, and then to compensate you come forward, and then it fucking burns. And you just have to spend like weeks in that position.
Yeah, that's what basically like whenever I started training with Rhino, that's what I just said with Charles. Like that's what we would, in order to get me more activating those muscles and get more used to it, we would do that shit in the gym as well. So I'm just always trying to get that muscle memory
position.
and just trying to get my muscles used to being strong in that position, from the bike to in the gym to everything. I would start to like just understand. Okay, rotate at my hips, everything. I'd drop my phone and I would be over and pick up and then it starts to like, and then I'm like, because whenever I started doing that, I was like, oh, okay, this is starting to become muscle memory. I'm like, that's good. This is good now that I'm starting to
think like this.
Yeah, like that. This is what I need. Whenever I started to see that progress, that's what I was like, okay, this is good. Like this is.
Well, that's even flexibility.
Yeah.
Like I'm the fucking biggest flexibility nerd of all time.
Yeah.
Like because training and doing jiu-jitsu, like you get rolled into a fucking ball.
Yeah.
And you just have to be. It's actually a weapon to be like it's literally a part. It's a part of your arsenal in a sense to be like flexible. But I noticed over time when I drop something, I wouldn't like bend over. I just literally do a squat. Like I just fully drop on the ground, do a squat, and stand back up. And I'm like, holy fuck!
Yeah.
Like this is like how your body's supposed to move.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be like,
Yeah.
like just drop down.
Yeah.
And there's no seats. Just fucking do a squat.
Yeah.
Just like you go all through Asia, you go all through like basically anywhere down there, or like India, those places, people just fucking squat.
Yeah.
They just don't sit in seats. So like there's such a crazy utility to being very flexible and like being in the right position. And even like, you'd be in the kitchen making something and you kind of like bend over just to get into that position to like that correct riding position. Like it's literally available everywhere and it actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. That's what like the one thing I can't do is like in yoga or whatever, whenever we do, like my knees don't bend anymore from all my ACL surgeries and stuff. So I can't like, basically I can get them to like probably 60 or 70 degrees. And then they start to not. So I can't like Riley will I can't sit on my feet anymore. I can't heel to butt anymore. I can't like sit at I can't do that. And that pisses me off because I used to be able to do that no problem.
Does that hurt in your knee?
They just
It just doesn't close.
They just don't.
What about your
ankles? They won't. My ankles are fine. Okay. It's just my knees. Like it's mainly just my right one that I had I had 2 surgeries on last year. I can force it there.
You know what it'd
but
be?
It starts to hurt.
It'd be your quads.
Yeah.
It'd be really, really, really tight quads, I reckon.
Yeah.
And that'd just be from all the injuries and surgeries.
They've taken my hamstring in both of them too, so it might be a little bit of hamstring to fix my ACLs. They've done that in both legs too, but it's more so just like I think whenever I took one of my injuries I took off, I had G really work on my knee, and it got better for a little bit, but we were like. Literally, I would go in and I would lay on my stomach, and he would just take my knee and just crank it to my butt, and that we would just do that the whole time I'm there. And then it did get better. I was able to then start to do some like heel to butt stuff. But then when I would go back to riding and doing other stuff, and I wouldn't do that. Like if I was doing it almost every day.
Yeah, you just got to be doing it. Yeah.
But you just got to like, that's the thing is you just got to crank on that stuff. Like that's what a lot of from doing like knee rehab stuff now. Like I know that like they won't, you can't straighten your leg after surgery, and you can't bend it far after surgery. And how they get past that is just push it. Yeah. They just push it. And that's like what, like, that's what you can't really like do it lightly. Like after my ACL stuff, like I'll just put my foot on the first thing we'll do after I do my ACLs is I'll put my foot on something like my heel, and then he'll put a weighted sandbag on my knee, and I'll just sit there for 15 minutes at the start of every day at rehab with just trying to flatten out my knee. And every day I'll start it like that, and it will hurt so bad for 15 minutes just of my knee just pushing down on it, just trying to hyperextend it. Basically, it won't, but just trying to get it to hyperextend basically. And that's just, and then the same way with bending it, I'm just like just cranking on it, and I'll lay on my stomach, and he'll just be and I'm just like, dude, like, are you sure this thing's not gonna pop one of these times and I'm gonna like,
let's go back to square one.
That's it.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you're healed, but like you got to just put some force into this stuff to get it to, because the ligament, like you have to re-stretch the ligament basically. But you don't want to stretch it too much, but you have to re-stretch it a little bit to get it to. So yeah, I don't know. That stuff's just, I've learned a lot about rehab stuff like that.
The brutality of rehab.
Yeah, just forcing stuff through sometimes, and you can with some stuff, you can't with some stuff, but like, so it's weird, but I've kind of like done rehab on almost everything on my body now, so I kind of know like that stuff. But it's kind of it is gnarly. Just sometimes like it's like, oh, there's a scientific approach. No, you just gotta bend that shit. Yeah. Like you just gotta do it. Like that's just, there's no, and it's like it's gonna hurt. Yeah, it's not like this is going to hurt for sure.
That's why you have to pay someone to do it.
Yeah,
like you can't rehab yourself.
No,
because you need somebody to fuck you up.
Yeah, dude. That's what my ACL is going to G's like every day, dude. It's like the first one that I had was like I didn't know what to expect, and like just starting the day every day with just trying to just cranking that thing down, and then we would go straight from that straight to trying to bend it then. So it's like the thing's just like it was terrible, but that's just what they work now, so that's just what you got to do. But like, I mean, the one works better than the other, but my right one, I gotta like, I'll probably go to him after this and have him. He'll probably do the same thing. He'll probably just take that shit and just try to bend it to my knee. And
dude,
the first time he does it, I'm like, oh, like that's not good. And then it gets more and more and more. And by the end of it, he's like, your heel's about an inch away from your butt now. So I think that if you were sitting on it, it'd be good. I'm like, dude, this feels like my knee's just gonna one of these times you're just gonna be doing this and it's just gonna pop, and then it's just gonna done. Like that's what it feels like, but never did. But that's just that's what,
Well, I think I need that shit in my ankles. So when I do the heels to butt, like, so when we're on the mat to training, everyone just sits like that.
Yeah.
And that's why I can do squats good, is because I just fucking do a squat because I can't sit on my heels.
Yeah.
But mine's my ankles. So even when I do squats, like I can't get my knees far enough forward to be like really, really comfortable. Like all my hips and shit is sweet. But yeah, I have no idea, like the ankles. I probably just need to do that. Just go to G's and just get him to rip the motherfuckers.
Yeah,
you break them one time, and then it just, if you don't,
you just figure it out too. Like you just figure out how to deal with them another way.
Yeah, well, like it's not that often. It's like an hour a day where it would be nice to be able to sit on my heels.
Yeah, but that's what, and then you just figure it out, and then you're just like, I can.
Yeah,
but it's like
But and then the worst. Well, do you have a sauna? At yours?
Yeah. I have a Rhino's little sauna
Oh.
thing that it's like a tent. You just get in it and zip it around your neck, and it's a
I
sauna
kinda
like that.
I should
and then
get
I
one
have
of
an ice
those.
bath, so
Yeah,
it's
because
nice.
that helps a lot with
Yeah.
stretching. Like if you stretch post sauna,
Yeah.
night and day difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that would be. I started doing a lot of like from sauna to ice bath, and then back to just short sauna for a little bit, or even just like we get in the hot tub at night. I always go hot tub, then get in the ice bath, and then get back in the hot tub. I like how it feels when you get from the ice bath into the hot tub.
Yeah,
and
like the tingly,
Your legs
like,
just go. Mine just go straight numb. Like
Yeah.
I can't feel anything and then you slowly feel the blood start to circulate back in. I feel like
Yeah.
that just feels good. And me and my roommate do that, but it's the same thing with like the sauna or whatever. Like, I mean, it's not quite as drastic, but it's like it's the same idea. It's the same
Yeah.
circulation thing, or the same it's the same concept. That's why when I first started working with Rhino, he was like, "You need two things." He's like, "I will get you a sauna because my company or his company or whatever makes them," and he was like, "But you need to get an ice bath."
Yeah.
And so I just got a big meat freezer from Best Buy for like $400,
Yeah.
and just plug it in for a couple days, unplug it, it ices over, and then it slowly thaws out.
Have you got the thermometer thing that you keep in there?
No.
Dude, you should do that, and then it'll just auto turn on and off. And
Really?
Keep the water
that'd
exactly
be-
the temperature.
That would be we just plug ours in and leave it plugged in for like 2 days until it starts to get a light
Yeah,
sheet
the
of ice
ice on
over
the
the
top,
top, and then
yeah.
you just unplug it for like 4 or 5 or a week, and then plug it back in, and then you plug it
just
more.
get a little electric thermometer, put that shit in, and it'll just on and off your thing. Keep it at the exact temperature you want your
It'll
water.
just like
Yeah, it just turns the electricity on and off.
okay.
That's the move.
Yeah,
Wait, show me
that's-
that M Perion run because I wanted to watch this.
It's pretty impressive. It's
Oh,
gnarly.
dude.
What was that race?
Was it what race was it? Just be like UCI downhill
Yeah, just
winning
type in
run
UCI
2024.
Yeah.
I can't remember the actual round. Because yeah, I've heard that it's savage.
That one.
Val de Sol, there we go. Oh yeah, the complete. Yeah, go down third one. I think this might be our one. Yeah, we go. Or is this?
Yeah, this is him.
Wait, when is this though?
This is it. This is like a day ago, I think.
Just X out of it for a sec. Scroll down. Just one, mate. Yeah, 4 days ago. This is it. Bang. Let's go. Pull the volume up on this. Let's see. I want to listen to this shit. He's had a bit of a struggle, eh?
Yeah. This guy's his comments all looks crazy. His bike looks like it handles really good.
So good, eh?
Yeah, really good in this video.
How's
And
how's the Aussie commentating?
It's I feel like it's is Aaron Gwynn not one of the commentators?
Yeah, he is.
He
yeah.
is.
Oh, he knows it too.
Yeah, no, that the dude. I mean, it's not even close. He was up by like it wasn't even close. It was like 4.8 seconds or something.
Go see if we can find the actual run.
Yeah, go to the first one that you clicked on, and then just scroll through until you see that guy pop up.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah, just
And
scroll.
then maybe turn it down a tiny bit on our end, yeah.
Okay, Dakota Norton had his own dramas yesterday with a bit of a technical malfunction.
So yeah, go to the end maybe.
Again, he's not riding
Just
with
scroll
the
through until you see that guy in that same color. gear.
Oh yeah, go back. Yeah.
Oh, that was him.
Yeah, go back.
He's over.
Yeah, there we go. We're on here.
Out as good of a start as you could hope for.
Yeah, back to 26 more
Our
seconds.
greatest mount been in this
Yeah, keep
Yeah,
going.
there.
Yeah, we go. Bang.
yesterday, and now he's back into his familiar and favorite position as the last
Downhill's
man
so
down
gnarly,
the
bro.
hill.
That's what
you
my
ride a bit, eh?
yeah, my roommate does enduro racing.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
he does. He's not pro, but he's
He's quick.
he's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like the best
He's
like
been in this position before. He's one of the
amateur class.
greatest
I forget how they like
female
rank their
downhill
Yeah,
athletes.
yeah,
but
yeah.
he's like the
Henry
best
Piron
like
is on the
amateur
track
class.
here in
I think.
Valdesole, Trentino.
because he started. He wasn't. He was good at moto, but like he was right at the verge of being good enough. He was like just on. He was like 20th at the outdoor races, so he was right on the verge of like getting a ride or right on the verge of being good enough. So we grew up riding together and stuff, and he trained at Rob's for a while, and then he quit, and then he started riding mountain bikes, and now he's pretty damn fast.
That's awesome, dude. He's fucking ripping.
Second, Emery Perion.
What did I say?
Is on
1.4.
Full second, yeah, 1 second now.
2018 was the last time
It
we
has
saw
got to
Emery
be
Perion
so
take
hard
over
to
here.
do
He
this
knows what it takes
and
to
just
win
turn,
this
like,
race.
flip that switch for
Yeah.
one
Knows
run.
what it is going to take to claim the victory here today.
This is like stuff like
looks
this
so
type
good
of
to
stuff
be
is
able to hop
stuff
high
that
there
I
and
feel
then
like
slow yourself
I would
down
be
and go
good at
all the way
though,
around the
because like
inside of
that's
that
what
right-hand corner.
that's what I'm
Takes
more
so
similar
much
to like a
control of the
fast
roots to be
twitch
able to
muscle
do this.
fiber. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like
Emery here, you
my
used to see
struggles
him
come in like
races year after year.
outdoors at the 30-minute mark
Yeah.
is where I start to where the slow twitch guys, that's where they
They're
are
building,
good.
yeah.
But like in Supercross, like dude, a Supercross heat race,
Yeah, no one's beating you. Yeah,
I'm
it's over.
I'm a beast. I'm a beast in a Supercross heat race. And even a Supercross like 250 main, but a 450 main, like towards the end, like the 20 minutes, I start to get just a little bit like
You're burning.
it's just like, and it's not from like lack of training. Like I do
No,
everything I
yeah.
need to do. It's just that is like the different. But that's why it's cool, because that's it's why Webb is so strong at the end, but Roxton's so strong at the beginning. So like that's why it's close at the end, because Roxton's starting to slow down and Webb's starting to go faster. So it's starting to, and then the end of the race is like interesting. So like that's what it's just different body types, different riding styles, different all that stuff. But,
Yeah.
but I would be good because these are
Just the 3 minutes of all the way out.
I think 3:40 or something is his time, and but all out for 3 minutes.
Everything,
I'll do that. I could
everything.
do that. 100%. I could do that. Like,
That's so sick. He is fucking ripping, bro. Oh, the commitment is so gnarly.
Yeah. And just like from what I've noticed with mountain biking and stuff too, like what you have to be really good at too is making decisions really
Yeah.
quickly. Like
decisions.
oh, there's a route, I'm gonna bank off it. Like I mean, these guys get to practice this, and I don't think the course changes that much. But like if you're going to a new mountain bike place
Yeah.
and you're just hitting
Seeing it
trails,
for the
you
first
got to
time.
be able to make a decision really quick on a mountain bike.
Yeah.
Dude,
4-3. 4-4, really.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it. He's just got to.
Yeah, he's got it now. Yeah, there's
It's not
Quinn
even.
there.
It's not even close.
Pretty much home free.
This Sam Hill turn coming
Yeah.
up next.
Those new Fox Forks are sick with the gold.
I know, right?
Big sprint finish to go. He's over 63 kilometers.
Yeah, that was unreal.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emery Perion.
But like that, we were watching, and the guy, a couple after him, I think, looks way faster.
Way faster.
Way fast. He's pushing so hard. Front end's almost washing out. He is pushing so hard, and that guy beat second by 4.8 seconds.
We'll see if Emery's
That's
still-
hectic.
In 3 minutes. Like that's a lot of time in 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Emery Perion
Fuck,
takes the
that's
win.
sick.
I mean, that's like being in one lap, being 4 seconds off somebody in qualifying. Like that is
12
a lot.
seconds faster than Danny Hart in 10, who has also won a world championship.
He was 8 seconds faster than Bruni.
Yeah, he just fucking had it, obviously.
Yeah, that was just a good race. That was a good downhill.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Those guys are gnarly.
Yeah.
It's funny what you were saying about the whole fast twitch thing, though. I don't know if you would have heard the podcast with Peter Park, but he trains Sexton
Yeah.
and Kenny.
Yeah.
And so he was saying, I'd never, you hear about the whole fast twitch, slow twitch, muscle fiber thing, and you just don't think it's as important as what it is when you hear a guy like him explain it. And then even to hear you explain it, and for people sitting at home watching Supercross and like on the couch and like being a fan or whatever, to just have like no idea that you're that guy. Like I never really thought of it. Like I never thought maybe Austin's just like that Ken Roxon fast twitch. Like the dude can just fucking slay for like 15 minutes. And then after that, you're starting to fade.
Well, that's
you know?
I mean, that's what I've
And
I've
you
had
can't
to-
train, you cannot train that away.
No.
Like that's who you are.
Yeah, and that's what like it's almost like I can't train that like out either. Like if I start to try to work hard enough to be as strong as those slow twitch guys at the end of the moto, then that's whenever I start to potentially get like burnout because I'm training too hard. That's like whenever I just start to, there's a really fine line of when I can get to as strong as those guys at the end, or I almost just, if those guys are strong at the end, then that's what you just have to be stronger at the beginning. So it's just like, that's just like, but it is like, it's almost, it's weird because it seems like there's more, I don't know. We were talking about that. I was talking about this with Levi the other day, and it
Great
seems
guy.
like, yeah,
Great
Levi's
guy.
awesome. He stayed at our house before Paula, just so we didn't have to
sick.
drive from Mitch's all the way down to Paula. So he's up in Corona. So he stayed there, and we were just talking about it. Just the same thing, like there's certain guys that they look like an athlete. You know, I would like to think that I look kind of like an athlete when I take my shirt off, but then I mean, dude, some of the guys have dad bods, but they're strong. They're so strong and they're so fit. And dude, I mean, you got to think like Ricky, he never really looked like a crazy athlete, but he was one of the fittest guys on a dirt bike.
It just had a motor.
He just, but that's what it's almost like to be that guy at outdoors more specific, but it's almost like you have to have like a thicker body type. It's almost like you have to, because you have to have that like fat reserve.
Yeah, I was going to say there's almost like a certain energy reserve type of what you would have felt on your run.
Yeah.
You know, like with the whole marathon prep, you know, it's like Anna's probably going to burn 3,500 calories. So it's like, how the fuck do you eat 3,500 calories while you're running? And it'd be the same thing for you guys. Like 230s, the amount of fluid that you're going to lose and the amount of calories that you're going to burn, like what you have to do to break even in terms of like your caloric intake and then your hydration, that's gnarly.
It's
just
not,
to break even.
It's really not even possible. Like with the amount, like that is the toughest part for me in outdoors is just
hydration and eating.
Getting things into my body, because you come off and you're looking at times, you're watching film, you're doing this, and then you're like, oh shit, I was supposed to have a smoothie, I was supposed to have a peanut butter and banana sandwich, I was supposed to have all these things, and dude, I'm not even hungry. I feel like I just ate breakfast, and I got 15 minutes before I got to go back down to the line for next practice, and then after that, I'm supposed to eat pasta and a whole lunch meal, and then also on top of all this, I need to be drinking as much water as I possibly can, and it's just like you can't get that much into you. Like you can't. It's so hard to get. That's the hardest part for me about Supercross is easier because you have more time too. But outdoors is just tough because everything's so quick, and then from the 30, it takes you a solid 20 minutes just to even get your body temperature back down to a manageable level, to where then you feel like eating or whatever again. You got to get in an ice bath for like 10 minutes after. We have like the big trash cans that we fill up with ice and water, and we get in those for like 10 minutes, and just to get your body temperature down to where you can feel like eating anything. And it's still, even then, I really can't eat much between the two motos,
and then you add in nerves, pressure, you know, like the
all that
mental
stuff
shit that you're dealing with on top of it too.
Yeah. So it's that's honestly one of the toughest parts about race day is just getting the food in. It's easier for Supercross, especially just because practice, you don't have to be overly, you need to run up, you need to be strong for 50 seconds for a lap time, whatever. That's fine. And then there's only for us, there's only 22 minutes basically of racing in a Supercross night. Yeah. And you have an hour and a half between heat race and motos.
Yeah, just press the
So
button, go.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Like it's easy. You can eat a good proper dinner after practice or whatever, a good proper afternoon, late lunch, early dinner before the night show starts. You can eat a good big pasta. I usually like pasta or chicken and rice or something. And then after that, after you do the heat race, have some snacks, have some peanut butter and some other stuff in between, and then you're good to go for the main. So that's easy. But outdoors, dude, like from when you get there to it's just all so cramped. And then once you start racing, you're so fried after the first moto that like you're like, dude, how can I even go for a second moto?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the outdoors I show up to it, you go to the line and you're just like what am I even I don't even feel like I want to go to the first turn, much less do another 30. Like I feel like I just came off for that one. I feel like I'm still hot from the first moto. I haven't even cooled down.
Yeah.
I feel like I got no water in, which I did. I drank a bunch of bottles of water, but I still feel dehydrated. And it's so tough.
I find it crazy as well, just like the level of concentration you guys have to have. Like that's the one thing that whenever I started training to do the World Vets race, like I was just doing 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. And there was just times where I would just be like, not bored, but not able to focus on what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was riding and I was like doing the moto and I'm like, fucking 12 minutes, bro. Like, gee, are you serious?
All the time.
And it's just so hard to be locked in
for that long.
And to have that focus. And that's where like,
on a track you've ridden a lot too, probably.
Yeah,
like that you
just
know
the
layout.
same-
It's the same
the same
thing, it's the
track.
same
Yeah,
lines,
yeah.
like it's the same everything. And that's what is a huge like that's tough because
And you guys are doing it for even longer. It's 30 plus.
30 plus too, yeah.
You know,
And,
so
yeah.
just to stay locked in. That's where like I think meditation is like massive because you're kind of training yourself to stay in it and to stay present, even though you're just sitting and you're doing essentially nothing. Like to focus on doing nothing for however long that you do it.
Yeah.
That's a real skill that you have to build up. And it's like, how present can you be just for 30 minutes to just corner, jump, corner.
Yeah.
Like just nothing else. Like this is the only thing that exists.
Yeah.
That shit is fucking hard.
It's hard. That's I mean, that's half the battle at least. If you can, because some races go by really quick and you're like, dude, it's white.
It's over.
Was that the 2-lap board?
Yeah.
Was that the 2-lap board? Other races, you're like looking for the 2-lap board and they pull out the halfway point. And you're like, wait, hold up. Did I just see the halfway point? I thought I was about to get like the white flag any lap, and it's halfway. Those are the races that suck. But that's just kind of like, I mean, if you enjoy the track or it's just different tracks, different riders, different whatever. But when you can get in a flow like that where you're just not thinking, then things go by quicker. It's way better. I haven't figured out a way to do that every single time, but when I can do that, I mean, shit's easy basically. Like it's you don't feel like you get tired, you don't feel like you lose focus. Like when you can just lock in on those days, like it's sick. It's sick. And I can't do it. I don't think anybody can do it every single day. Like it's a hard thing to do, but when you have those days, those are nice days.
Yeah. I got a lot of respect for you for going to doing the Rhino thing because I remember, I think you posted like the video, you guys filmed a video and it was just like going back to basics and you're just like doing this turn track.
Yeah, just like a turn track.
Yeah.
Like 30-second turn track.
And I'm like,
20.
you know what? That's fucking rad. Like that to me, you like almost publicly admitted you needed help.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
And I think that was pretty cool. Like that had to be, at least for me, when I'm looking at that, I'm like, man, he must have been in like a pretty fucked up place to fully just publicly be like, I'm going back to school. Like I need to learn how to ride.
I just was like, I mean, it was one of those things where I was like, I know people are going to talk shit. Like they're going to be like, oh, you're going to see Rhino?
Yeah.
Like, you must be really desperate if you're going
must
to see
be
Rhino.
fucked up.
Just because of how because how Rhino is.
Yeah.
And especially how he appears on social media and stuff. But like
Newsflash, Rhino's the fucking man.
Yeah, he's the man. Rhino's awesome. That's why like I didn't Rhino wasn't even on my radar to train with. Like, I was looking for other guys just because Mitch was like, hey, like,
Well, you need a guy here.
you need a, I want you out here, so you need a guy. And I was like, not like actively looking, but I was just keeping my eyes out for guys. I had a couple like test runs with some other guys. But I liked Robbie, and he's like another father
Yeah,
figure to
you've
me,
been with
basically.
him
I've been in
forever.
for so long. But he was like, he's super cool. We still talk all the time, but he was like, I get it. You need somebody out there. And he has his training facilities, kids now out in Oklahoma. So he just couldn't be here as much as I needed to. So it was no bad blood or anything there. But Rhino wasn't even on my schedule. And then I went to Paula for the first race last year and ran into him in the Fox Tower. And we were just talking about stuff. I was talking about my arm, because this arm, I've had a bunch of nerve pops
Dude, that's
in.
fucked up.
I've lost all my, like you can see that, all that is just gone, where this one's like,
How?
I mean, I have all that muscle. Like,
How?
I don't know.
What?
I've seen multiple of the best nerve people in the country. I went to this place in St. Louis, that Washington University or something like that was apparently had. I went and saw Roxon's guy. The last surgery I had on it was from Viola and Vale, that fixed Roxon's arm.
Yeah.
And I've seen multiple people. Nobody can tell me what the cause of it is. Actually, from this recent brain thing, this dude, he thinks that it might have been this thing in my brain that was putting pressure on some nerves.
nerve.
Maybe not 100% of it, but a little bit of it could be. So I'm hoping from this that maybe it helps it a little bit. But I started talking to Rhino about it while I was up there. And I was just like, we were just talking about whatever, and I was just like, yeah, I was like, he was like, I think I have some things I could help you with if you're interested. And I was like, well, the one thing I'm kind of struggling with is I have like half as much grip strength in my, like, if you look at a bunch of pictures, I was just looking at one this morning, and my pinky is not even gripping on the left side. Like, it just hangs like that, basically. So I was like, I lost a bunch of grip strength, so I need to figure out how to put more weight and use my legs and mine. That's why the whole unlocking my hips and thing was, like, I feel like it's been a pretty big thing, because it's helped me have to hang on with my arms less. And so this is what we started talking about. And he was like, I kind of understand that, because in one of his crashes, he broke his neck, his tricep shut down. And that's kind of similar. Like, this tricep is weaker because it leads down into these muscles. So that's kind of similar. And he was like, so I kind of understand what you mean. He was like, I understand I'm one of the best at understanding that you have an issue and there's no way to work through it. So you have to work around it. He was like, he's like, everybody thinks just, okay, well, it's weak. Just lift more weights. Just do this, just do that. I'm like, dude, I'm doing everything I can. I got huge, everything except this arm. So,
No way.
Because the muscles, they just weren't, the nerves weren't letting
Because
fire,
it's like, it's basically
whatever.
just not sending signals to that.
So that's what. So and two, once muscle atrophies to a certain point, it won't. It's just kind of gone. So I'm hoping
so
it will
gnarly,
come.
bro.
I'm hoping it will come back. But I mean, I was making it work this year, but in my crash video, my left arm blows off whenever I crash. So that's it's a little bit of a problem. But that's what we just started talking about that, and then he was like, I'd like to help you out if you're interested. And I was like, honestly, I'm not really, but dude, screw it. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Like,
What have I got to
why
lose?
not? Yeah. When I get back to riding, why not? What is a day at a turn track with you gonna hurt? Nothing. Why not? Let's do it. And that was kind of, I just left, and I was just like, yeah, sure. Okay. We talked for a while, and he wasn't the Rhino that he appears to be, for sure. Like, when you talk to him, like, I thought too, and he did used to be like this. He tells me, he's like, dude, I used to be a push through it type of guy.
Yeah.
There was a wall, I would run through it.
Yeah.
I would go harder and harder and harder. Okay, this is the problem. I need to go harder. I need to train more. I need to do this more, harder, faster. Everything was more. And he's like, now I know that it's not always more. It's not, everybody just always assumes everything is more.
Yeah.
is more. Okay, you got slow at the end of the moto. It's your fitness. You need to train harder. You need
Yeah,
to do this.
yeah,
You need to do
yeah.
that. It's always more. It's never. And he's like, so for the past few years, I've taken a step back and I've thought, well, maybe it's this over here is why. And then I've started to figure out it can be other things other than just I need to go harder, I need to go faster, I need to go longer.
Yeah.
It's not just always more. And that's what I've kind of had people telling me to do is like
Yeah.
just like before I started working with Rhino, like just like even Mitch and just guys on the team and stuff, just like I think you need to do more. I think
you're
you
not
need to
doing
do
enough.
this,
You're not doing enough.
do this. And Rhino now is kind of a good enough like Mitch and everything now after how the first couple rounds went training with him and everything. I think everybody trusts him enough that now if he's like, hey, like I don't want Austin to go do motos with everybody else today because if he does that, he's gonna not focus on these technique changes that we need to make. He's gonna be worried about, oh, this guy's half a second faster than him, and he's gonna go back to his bad habits. So that's what he's been cool. Like Mitch has allowed me to kind of get away and go ride by myself some days, which he has been since Star kind of started that whole riding together thing. Like a lot of the teams like kind of are like, hey, everybody needs to ride together now. That's a whole deal now.
We're
It
a
used to
fucking
be,
crew.
dude.
We're going to the track as a crew.
Dude, it used to be like, dude, I mean, James rode at his house.
Yeah.
Ricky rode at his house. Chad rode at his house. And by themselves, no one else. Just them.
Well, they'd have Burner, Jason Thomas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
They'd
they'd
have
have some
somebody else on the
rabbits.
track,
They
but
just
not-
have
yeah.
rabbits.
But now it's like, oh, we need to do motos and we need to start bang, 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 bang. We need to do real, like, we need to be battling during the.
Yeah.
And so I don't know I know what changed. It was just that Star started winning a lot doing that training program. So now everybody thinks that we need to do that. But
Yeah.
Rhino.
And then Alden kind of as well.
Yeah.
Like they've had that vibe
Yeah.
going.
But Rhino, now they trust him enough to kind of let him do. If he's like, hey, we need to slow down. Actually, he's one of the fastest guys almost every time he touches the track. Like
Yeah, I don't think
practice.
speed's your
No,
problem.
that's what at first they were like, we still want him to kind of do what we think as far as like Mitch and the team. And then they started to see some progressiveness like just throughout the week and stuff and how I started to ride better and stronger and faster and more better technique and stuff. And they're like, oh, this is actually looking like it's working. And now after winning the first race and pretty much winning the second race, they're definitely now they're like, okay, like you want to go do this.
Yeah.
We are going to allow that now because we see that like
There's some method to the madness.
there's a method to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what Rhino really wasn't on my radar until I talked to him with Paul, and then I talked to him and I was like, you're not like I thought of him as like a hard ass. Like I thought he was gonna be like
No, he's like
that.
a very
like
kind.
more, go,
Yeah.
harder. And
Yeah.
he's not at all. Like
Yeah.
he's like, well, have you ever thought about like slowing down and actually doing less? Like going out to the track and doing 130, not a warm up, 130-minute moto and leaving.
Yeah.
And being done for the day. And I was like, well, that's
Not enough.
not even
Yeah.
not even close to enough.
Yeah.
Like I'm being told to do more and I'm already riding like a warm up plus 230 plus twos. So like and I'm being told to do more.
Yeah.
So like what and so yeah, he was actually like right up my like alley with what I thought I needed because that was my thing. I was never really like I need to do more. I was like cuz fitness has never really been my issue and speed is never on Supercross anyway has never been my issue either. It's just that I get hurt all the time, so I need to fine-tune technique stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what he said that he agreed with, and I was kind of surprised. I just thought that he would have said a bunch of other stuff, and I thought he would have said it in a way like you have to do this, like you need to do it this way.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. He was like, well, he's like, there's a couple things I think you need to work on, but there's a number of ways we could go about working on those things. It's like if you did this and you didn't like it, he's like, well, then we could try it this way, or we could try it this way. So he was super, super like, for whatever reason, I just thought Rhino was like, well, I thought it because he said he was like, I used to be a hard ass. I used to be like, I'm gonna work harder than everybody. I'm gonna do more than you. If there's a wall, I'm gonna run through it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go. And he's like, that got me hurt a lot and no championships.
Yeah.
So he's like, that's where I kind of had to take a step back and be like, okay, maybe I need to just relax a little bit more and focus on more yoga and more this and more that and stuff like that. And he's like, that's whenever I started to see progress. And then he was like, just come to the track one day for a turn. He was like, if you don't feel any change that day, he was like, then we don't ever have to. He was like, I'll see you when I see you, and we're on no bad terms. We're fine. I was like, dude, whatever. Screw it. I showed up.
I need it. I need anything.
It was literally like a 15-second turn track. I was like, we're here for this. I was like, we are here for this. Me and Tony both showed up, and we were like,
what the fuck?
we're here for this. This is like not even a backyard track. This is like it's nothing.
This is an outline of a pool.
This is this is small for a pit bike track.
Yeah,
Like this is a tiny pit bike track. So, and then we were riding, and I felt the changes that he was having me make. Like I felt them in my riding, and I was like, okay. I was like, I feel what you're saying. So that's good. And I was like, can we tomorrow go to like a real track and do the same things and just let me see if this stuff translates to a real track? And then it translated to a real track. It was the same exact thing, another good day. And I brought Riley with me, and I had Charles come out, and I brought a bunch of guys out, like kind of
just like
some
your
guys
crew.
in my circle.
Yeah.
And gas and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, I was like, and Tony, and I was like, hey, I just want to make sure that he's not telling me this shit, and then I go out and he's like saying other stuff behind my back or whatever. Like this, he's being real. Like this is him. He's not putting on a front for me just to get me to pay him to train me, basically. And then they were all like, no, like the whole time you're riding, he's talking about you riding.
Yeah.
Like he's not, like he is focused on you. That is it. That is all he cares about. And he was
Which
like,
is an athlete, kind of, that's what you want,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Like you kind of want to feel. It's very hard to trust. It'd be very hard to trust people at like where you're at, you know, like especially in a couple bad years, and then you get people doubting you, and then all the people talking shit about you, and like to be able to bring somebody into the circle and to be able to trust somebody enough to like one, pay him as well.
Yeah.
But it's like there's just so much fucking weirdness that can happen, and then I bet you've been burned a bunch of times.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, dude, I gotta go ask anybody. Hey, what do I need to do better? Everybody has an opinion on what I can do better. And that's before they even know what I'm doing in the first place.
And what limitations you have.
Yeah.
Like, do they know this is fucked up?
No.
This is fucked up.
They don't. And
you know?
that's what I've had so many people, hey, you need to do this. If you did this, you would win a championship. I was like, so you're telling me if I did this, or if I did this, if I came and trained with you, you would guarantee me a championship.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me. It's like, you don't know. What if I clip somebody's tire going into the first turn and break my wrist, or, you know, whatever, blow my knee out, happen? Like what? Like
that was the most fucked up thing I've ever seen, bro. Like I hurt for you when that happened.
That was
I
gnarly.
was like, how, dude? How?
That sucked. That was
That was not fair.
Yeah, that sucked. That was over before it even. But dude, I mean, like, yeah, that was just a bad. We changed something in my motor. Like I was solid all off season. We changed something in the motor, and it made the bike super, super aggressive off the grate. Which it was good on the track, but it was just too much off the grate. And I was like, I don't really like this. And Tony felt so bad after that, because he was like, I should have never let them put that in your bike, because your starts were good, and then they went to shit after that. And then what happened? You blew your knee out on a start.
Yeah.
And he was like, he felt so bad about that. But I was like, dude, I mean, it's whatever. It just happens. But yeah, that one did suck. Yeah, I mean, that one sucked. This last one sucked pretty bad too, though. I don't know which one sucked worse.
Dude, this one, I was with Nixon, and I was like in the Monster suite, and we were fucking dead level with that. And all I saw the crash, and then I just saw fucking sparks.
Yeah.
Because your bike was just
on
hurling along and I was like, what the fuck did I just see?
Yeah.
That was it. That crash and Roxon's crash to me are like maybe two of Roxon's probably is the GOAT crash of like that's probably the gnarliest crash. That's probably the
gnarliest Supercross crash that other than The only other one that I can think of, but it wasn't as spectacular, is when Kennard got landed on by Brayton or whatever. That one
dude.
was, or
That
no,
was
by
Ryan
not Brayton, Mraz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were
That
you
was
there?
No, but
I saw that too, bro.
that was
I was there for that one too.
I
It was
didn't want to see that.
fucked up.
Moraz crashed almost as hard as Trey. Like he went off and then into the face of the next jump after
Yeah,
the triple, and it was almost as bad, if not worse, than Trey's. Like he broke
Well,
his
he
jaw.
fucked his
and
face up real
yeah,
bad,
he was
yeah.
all out and
Yeah.
stuff. His
Kenny's crash probably takes the cake. Maybe level with Kennard's. Like, that was fucking dirty.
yeah.
Then your crash. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that. And my wife, she just started, like, this was her first year, like,
Yeah.
watching Supercross, basically. And she was horrified. Like, that was her first big crash she's ever really seen. And I just
The slow-mo of
couldn't
it is
fucking
brutal.
believe it.
The slow-mo is gnarly. Like, of me, it's just like landing on my
Can
neck
we watch
on
it?
the
Do you
yeah,
care?
Yeah, no, I don't care.
Like, let's fucking watch this shit.
Pull it up, guys.
Yeah, pull it up.
Yeah, put Austin Forkner crash and see what comes up.
Oh,
man.
yeah, there's a few.
I got my own.
We could. This is a YouTube segment.
yeah,
Let's-
I got
let's
my own.
watch
I got
this.
my own.
Has anyone made one of these for you?
Probably. No, you got to find the behind the. That one's brutal too. Just the one of me and
Yes.
Jet.
Yeah, we'll
side
watch
angle of
that.
that one's gnarly too. Yeah, just click that one. Yeah,
Ugh.
this angle of it is disgusting.
I felt.
I rushed that, clipped, blew hand off.
Oh. Go back, or is that going to show?
No,
the
they'll show
slow-mo?
they'll show the
Yeah, let's
slow-mo.
just watch it. Yeah.
The behind angle is brutal.
Yeah, that's the one that I saw that I was like, so. All right,
Clip.
we'll watch it. I want to. It'd be cool to get you to commentate this. Actually, we'll watch it a
Okay,
couple
yeah.
times, but. Oh, bro, that's so fucked.
Skip to the behind angle wherever it is. They show it. Yeah, that one. I rushed that, and they built a little lip on that right side for some reason, and then right there, my left hand blows off, and I mean I'm gone there. I don't remember anything from all that. Whenever I crashed, I didn't remember what like I'm out right there. I don't remember. I thought I blew my. I thought my foot came off. Whenever just my first recollection, I knew that I did something like that, but I didn't remember. I thought maybe my foot blew off and it shot me off the side.
Yeah.
I didn't remember what actually came off.
Fuck.
Damn.
So pause it. So when you said you rushed it, how do you mean
that
you rushed
roller before it,
Yeah.
I just didn't how I wheelied over it. I came
you
out of
didn't
the
time it
yeah.
enough.
I came out of the sand too fast and I jumped out and instead of like
Uh.
almost pausing, getting a whoop, sitting it down in, and really getting like a
just
good
a
pop.
real clean transition.
Yeah, I rushed through I pushed through the first one, and it made me not get in the transition and get the pop, and then I was landing on that right side because that next one was a left-hand turn, so you wanted to go into the outside. I was landing on that right side of that jump, but for some stupid reason, before practice, they didn't have it on press day, but before practice, they put a lip on that right side. So you could, in theory, go on and then off, but the off was another big one, and nobody did it. Roxon did it in the heat race barely, but
Yeah.
no one else did it all day. Mookie tried it and like framed it like 3 times. in a row.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. So like, so I thought they should have taken it back out, but whatever. Like I was jumping over there. That was because you would have to jump to the left and then jump back to the right to set up for the next turn.
Yeah.
So I was just jumping, but you had to time it. You had to really get that. That pop was even more important because it was more like this. So you had to get more height to get to the backside of it. And I just rushed through. I didn't take enough time to get that pop up and get into it, the transition, and I just rushed through it.
Fuck.
And then I clipped it.
So that right there,
Back it up, guys. Or
That-
let it play again.
that is Supercross.
Yeah.
Like, you are on this fine line
Yeah.
between just greasing everything and just having this ultimate perfect flow. And if you fuck up one bit, this happens. And it is.
And then to be honest,
so
like
gnarly.
everybody was like, why didn't they have dirt there? Because they were like, that would have been, better because concrete. But I talked to G, and the first thing G said to me whenever I went in, look at those lots of sparks off my bike.
I know, dude. That's what I saw. I
Yeah.
just saw sparks, and I was like, "What?"
The
just
first thing
happened?
that G said to me whenever the first day I went in after this the first thing he said is he was like, if you would have done that onto dirt, if there would have been dirt there or something that would have been grippy when I
Grabby.
went down, he's like, you probably would have died, because he was like, you would have caught your neck and your back and your body would have caught and twisted instead of just skipped. He was like, because right here I go and I just skip. I mean, I fold up, but I skip across it. When if I would have landed on dirt and stuck and my neck would have stuck and then my body would have twisted, he was like, you probably would have broken your back and probably like severed your spinal cord and you'd probably either be paralyzed or dead. So he was like, the concrete, honestly, he's like, because that's what happens, those tabs I broke off my back, he's like, when people break those, it's from skipping across the ground, like a street bike crash where you hit and you slide and you skip across the ground. He's like, that's when those break. When you break your actual spine is when you hit and stick.
Stop,
And you stick and then you stick and you twist at the same time or whatever. And he was like, if you would have landed on dirt, you would have hit, stuck, and then twisted on compressed vertebrae, then twisted, and you probably would have blown something out. So he was like, honestly, the concrete is what saved you right there. But the medic crew should not have let me walk off after that.
There was, I remember thinking like, just put him on a fucking backboard and just.
The backboard's sitting right there, dude. It's like.
Like, I'll give you that. Like,
I don't remember any of that.
Oh, look at your face.
Yeah, Tony was like. Well, dude, Tony was like. Tony said it was like scary for him because he was like, I guess I didn't move forever, or they were surrounding me, so they couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And he was like talking to Ian, our like team manager, on the headset, and he was like, "Is he okay?" He was like, "I don't know." And he was like, "Is he moving?" He's like, "I don't know." He's like, "He's not moving yet." And he was like, "Dude, I don't know if it was just that moment," but he was like, "It felt like 5 to 10 minutes before he finally said, okay, he moved." And then he was like, "They wouldn't let me down there." And then I finally got down there. He was like, "Dude, I was scared shitless." He was like, "When I saw the crash and whenever then you weren't moving," he was like, "It scared the shit out of me."
Yeah, it was
like I'm like buddies with Tony now. Like we hang out like a decent amount, especially like we'll go get dinner together all the time, and then like
they kind of
obviously
like family.
Yeah, we see each other every day riding and stuff. But yeah, he was like as far as like scary crashes, that one was scary. So he was like, that was
and just the ultimate. And I mean, I think Roxon was the same. You know, like if he doesn't have that crash, like, is he a 3-time champ? You know, like, does he just go on a run that he just destroys everybody?
He was unbeatable before that.
Yeah,
I mean, he beat Dungey the first 2 or 3 races of the season that
technically, you were unbeatable too.
I won everything until then. So yeah,
it's just that those 2 crashes just stick out as just this. Like, this is why this shit's gnarly.
Yeah,
is because you can be doing everything right, and you make one mistake.
Yeah,
dude, Jet's crash at Hangtown.
Yeah.
That also goes to show you how fast that motherfucker's going. Like, he always looks like he's riding very slow. He's not.
Yeah. That was pretty brutal.
He made one mistake.
Yeah.
And he got fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
You know?
He's, dude, like, things that I say too is I'm like, some guys, man, like, they just have luck. Or they just have, like, did you see Sexton land on that dude over the weekend in practice? Yeah. I'm like, dude, if I would have been landing on the dude or getting land on, I would have been in the hospital. Yeah. If I would have landed on him, even though he like rode it out perfect, I would have like fell and put my hand into the chain or something and ripped my fingers off or something. And if I was that dude, his foot peg would have slid and went into my back or my butt or something like that. And I would have had a hole in my back. Like, just things like that happen to me in like dude, I'm like, the amount of crashes that just like Sexton's had that are just like huge, and he's just fine.
Well, he's built like a truck.
Well, he is built like
I wouldn't want to be a berm that he fell in.
Goes into.
You know what I mean,
dude? Like that one of him when Cooper landed on him and he went into it, ripped his jersey and he went like into the next jump. That was brutal.
What one was that one?
In Supercross? It was brutal, but he, I was like, he just blew his shoulder out. There's no way he didn't, and then he was fine.
Just
And I
fucking
was
go
like,
back
dude,
up.
I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like there's some guys just, or like even just like Deegan the other day when he did
the helicopter
down the Hangtown. Like that was, I mean, he got out of that fall. Like that's not crazy because a lot of those that you get flung are actually the better ones. It's the ones where you go bam that are usually the worst ones.
How's like Deegan, scooter kid? You know how you know he's a scooter kid? Spotted his landing twice.
Yeah.
Just in the air, just did like 2.
Yeah, that's like
bro, that's athletics right there.
That's yeah. I mean, so I mean, I had a lot of those growing up because I hardly ever got hurt until I went pro, and so I had heavy crashes all the time, and I would just walk them off.
Yeah.
Just get up, go ride again. Like I did a full Zach Bell, drug my foot off a jump at Robbie's once off the finish line of a Supercross, just through the air, landed.
I'm flying
rolled,
through the air
got
right
back
now.
up,
This is not good.
got back up. Let's go back. Let's take a break for a second. Let's come back out, do another moto. Like just fine. I did it on this hard 3 when I was training for Monster Cup one year. I crashed like 3 times on that jump, heavy, and every time just I'm good. Like Rob's like, how are you okay? Like,
Yeah.
And then now every time I tip over in a corner and I blow my shoulder out or something like that, it's just like, whatever. But
Just play the Lawrence crash. That one was fucking gnarly.
the side angle of that one when you see my head hit is pretty gnarly.
Like if you just go back, I think it was like there, right?
Yeah, it's that
Yeah,
one.
that one. Oh, he got so loose.
squirrely. That's when he passed me there. I was like, bro, go.
Oh,
I was like, bro, go. I was like,
I don't want it.
I was like, have it.
I don't want
I was
it.
like, I'll follow you. I was like, I don't think we're gonna catch McAdoo or Brown or whoever was in front of us, but I was like, if we don't, I get podium.
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
do, I get podium. Like I just go. Like just go. I'll follow you. Like I was like, maybe you'll go down and I'll end up getting. I was like, right at that moment when he passed me, I was 3rd overall. If I would have passed him back, I would have been 2nd because him and McAdoo were all like tied with lead. McAdoo was gone. So
fuck, that was bad.
does it not show? It should. Oh, it
no
doesn't.
side on. See if there's another one of it.
There's a side angle that
But
it shows.
it's crazy that like it goes to your point though. You know, like Jet just fucking bounced and got
It,
up.
that was
and,
Dallas, but it was oh yeah, just do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just got up. Fucking kept riding. Is there? You find
It's
it?
that one, but it's the longer version. I get.
Maybe go down to that one.
No, that's only 16 seconds. It's
yeah.
the side.
The side's the one.
The side's the one when you can
But,
see the
like,
impact.
I
See
could
if it goes to the side angle in this.
I could see straight away because the when
this
you,
one.
when you see. Oh, bro. Oh, just on the dome. But the
I wasn't that
shitty.
concussed from that either.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't that bad from it.
You know what's fucking crazy though? You were in bell helmets then, eh? Those things, I've had some pretty big crashes in those and like been pretty sweet.
Yeah, I've never had an issue with bells.
Yeah.
They've been super good to me. I've been running them for years.
Yeah.
I've never had problems with bells.
You can see he hits that tough
Yeah,
block.
he clipped it.
And it's just over.
Up the face. I knew right away.
Yeah.
I was like, he's coming over. I was like, my
Look
plan
how
was.
far, bro. Look, he lands off the track.
He lands off
He
the
went
track.
from
Yeah,
one side
yeah.
of the track. Like, that's a massive fuck up.
My thought process in that moment was I was like, okay, if we hit, if we connect in the air, I'm ejecting. I'm trying to jump through the bars because I'm going down. I was like, if he's coming over, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna go like this, and I'm probably gonna land and blow my shoulder out because I'm gonna go down. So I was like, I was like, in the air, if we touch, I'm gonna try to step through the bars.
Yeah.
And get away from the bike. And when we touched, I tried to get away and I still hung up a little bit and I still broke my collarbone. But that was my thought process right off the bat is I saw him come over and I was like, okay, if we touch, I'm jumping off. Right there we touch and I'm like, okay, yep, try to get off. Got off, but not that great. I try to get away from the bike any chance I get, but
Yeah. That was a fucking rough one.
yeah, that was bad.
And I got to say, too, you disappointed me when you commented on Jason Anderson's
On
post.
Jason's thing. Or on
It was Ando's.
Jason's
It was
post?
Ando's
Yeah,
post.
yeah. About him and Jet. Yeah.
Because you probably know why. But I'm obviously like, they're my friends. But I've known you since you were fucking 12.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, oh, why?
Yeah,
Because
I don't know. I afterwards, after I posted it and everything, I was like, I probably shouldn't even said anything. But then it was like there was like 2,000 responses to it.
I
know. I
it
still
was
get likes on it now, and like people replying to it now. And I'm like, dude, I was like, honestly, it'll probably look more. I'll probably look more like a pussy if I delete it, because then I'm just gonna look like, oh, now you're backing out of it or whatever. So I was I was like, honestly, I'm just gonna leave it, and it's probably gonna blow up, and I'm probably gonna get shit for it. But I was like, whatever. I said it. It's over with now. I shouldn't have even got involved. It's like I knew what people were gonna say. They were gonna say, "Oh, well, bro, you're hurt. Why are you even talking? Why are you even this?" But I was like, whatever. I didn't care at the time or whatever. But yeah, that was afterwards. I was like by the time I was like, yeah, I should probably just stay out of this.
This ain't my
between
fight.
them. Like it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
I can have my opinion, but like I should probably just stay out of it. But then it was like it just blew up, and I was like, well, I'm in it now. I just gotta ride it out. Like I just gotta ride it out. Like I'm gonna get, some people are gonna back me, but most are probably gonna shit on me. But I just gotta ride it out now. Like we're just along for the ride, so let's just go. I still have people commenting on it and telling me stuff now. I'm like, bro, this is so old now.
I know.
But like, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Like, it doesn't matter.
I was like, I swear, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
I could tell that from your comment back.
I commented.
I could tell that from your comment.
And I put it on my personal page too, because I'm like, I'm going to separate it. I'm like, because you're fucking cool and he's cool. And I'm like, mate, you fucking took the biggest L in this for me. And I'm not mad. I'm just upset. I'm just upset that you went there.
Yeah, that's what after I was like, that by the time I realized, like, like I get enough people talking as it is.
Yeah.
It's like, probably should have just stayed out of this. But by the time I thought of that, it was already too late. And I was like, now I'm just going to look like,
I'm just
going to look like a pussy. And I'm just going to, if I delete it, everybody's just going to be like, oh, now you deleted. Now you're taking it back, whatever. So I was like, I'm going to take it to the chest. I'm like, I hate when people they don't bat, they're all talk or whatever. So, hey, I posted this. I just got to take it. I got to take the heat I get for it, or the praise I get for it, or whatever I get for it. I just got to take it. So let's go along for the ride.
Well, I can relate. I've definitely fucking made some comments on the internet that I wish I didn't make. And once it's out, you just, like the fucking privateers thing.
Yeah.
I just didn't even remember I said it. I'm glad I said it though, actually. Like, I believe what I said.
Yeah.
That was one of those ones where I just like opened up my phone. I don't edit our content. I don't post our content. And it was just like,
yeah.
And like, I've just really never had any hate. And then I was just like the most hated person in motocross. And I'm like, fuck.
Dude, it's funny though. It's funny like how much people can hate you. And then like a day later, it's all over and you're fine again. And nobody talks about it ever again. It's like so weird. Like it's so weird how social media works, dude. It's so like, that's why I don't really get on it that much anymore. I don't really even reply to. I used to be like I'll reply to comments every now and then that piss me off or where somebody.
Hey,
nowadays, I still get on. Just the
yeah.
other day, I got on and I typed one out and I was like, honestly, why even waste my time with this dude? Like, who even cares? I've done that so many times lately. I've typed it out and I've just been like,
and then just done the delete.
And then I've just been like, nope, I don't care enough. Like, people are gonna be talking back to me, and then I'm gonna want to reply to them, and then it's gonna piss me off more, and then it's just like, why even just get off of Instagram for the day?
Yeah.
Like, just whatever.
It's the move. I replied to some dude on the weekend it was on Moto Memes, where I was just like, because the privateer thing now is like, that's basically a meme now. So like, I've got to go along with it. But some guy, like, he just replied some shit that it just fucking, I'm like, bro, I just need to break this down. He was like, if he stopped smoking so much weed and did that. And I'm like, all right, bro, I need to just tell you the realities of my life. I'm having fucking fun. Everyone that does the podcast is having fun. And if you don't like it, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care if you don't like it.
Yeah.
If it was everyone and nobody liked it and nobody listened, but guess what?
we wouldn't have views. We wouldn't have guests coming. I wouldn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
People wouldn't have a job. Like, I wouldn't get a text from every single guest being like, dude, I had so much fun. That was great. So they're the comments where I'm like, bro, please know that what you think about this, your specific issue that you have, that's a you thing.
Yeah.
Please don't project it on me.
Well, it's
because
just-
my life's
yeah.
fucking great. And you know why? 'Cause I've worked for my life to be great. I've built my life to be great. Shut the fuck up.
It's never people above you talking shit. It's always people like below you. Like Ricky has never talked shit about me or any somebody that has the right. Somebody that has somebody that can talk shit to me, and I just have to be like,
yeah, you're like, I get it.
You
Yeah.
kind of just have to be like, I
Maybe
can't
he's
really
right.
say that much back to you, Ricky. I can't be like, oh, well, what do you know? What? Like, it's never those guys that are talking shit. It's random dudes, and like, there's some guys that just say some certain things. I can read the most nasty comment about me or whatever. They're just writing about me or Riley or whoever, just the nastiest comment, and I can just be like, whatever. But then another day, some dude will be like, bro, like, you just suck. And for whatever reason, it just triggers something. And I just am like, I got to destroy this guy right now. Like, I just got to, like that. I just have those days when I'm just like,
hey, I can
some
relate.
days,
I
yeah.
have the exact same. I
Yeah.
feel the same way. Some days I just want to fucking destroy people. I'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, bro, how about you send me a link to your 3-hour podcast with Ryan Dungey, and I promise you I'll study that shit
Yeah.
inside and out.
Yeah.
I promise you. But guess what? That doesn't exist.
show me the video of you riding. What?
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
Supercross races have you won?
Yeah.
The last time you were leading and you had somebody ride on your ass in a pro Supercross race, what did you do? Did you feel the pressure or did you not? Oh, you've probably never led a local race, have you? Not much less. That's how it is, and that's why I go to type that shit out, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna destroy this guy, and then I'm like, dude, it's like this. Why even waste my time? Why even? And then half the time too, it's actually hilarious because half the time this one dude was going off on me and Riley and like so many people, and I just obliterated him like with facts too because he was like, you did this, you didn't, and I was like, actually, I won these 2 races. He was just going off on just about how I failed my whole career or whatever. And he was saying this, oh, well, your chick since 2017 when you guys met, she's ruined your life. I was like, actually, we met at the beginning of 2018. I had the best year of the end of 2018. I had the best year of my career in 2019. I won almost every single race that year until I got hurt. And that was like 6.
Yeah.
And I won almost every one until I got hurt.
Oh, that
And-
was the
and-
Sexton one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some dude was saying, and I just shut him down with facts like that. And then afterwards, he like called me a bully or something. He was like, bro, I was just like I wasn't even that serious about it. Like, I just wanted to see if you would respond. I'm like, dude, don't give me that bullshit. No, you weren't. You weren't just trying to see if I would respond. But now that I did and I proved you wrong, now you got to play the victim card. And that's what happens half the time too. That's why I'm like, honestly, I don't even want to give these guys the time of day enough for them to play the victim card. It's like who cares, dude? Like you're obviously not happy with your life. I can get on your page and immediately see 5 pictures immediately that show me that you're not very happy with your life. Like, I could go off on you about your chick or lack thereof chicks on your page about you and all your buddies wearing pink at the golf course and stuff. That's real manly like, isn't it? But it's just like, whatever. That's what I just have to laugh at it. Like,
It is hard though, because like even in the position that you're in, it's like, is it the move to be talking shit on Instagram? Probably not. But like, are you a fucking human?
I'm still a
that
human.
Has
Yeah.
the emotion?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm the same. I'm like, dude, I fucking love my life.
Yeah.
But the thing that sucks about my life is people like you, like people like you that talk shit on me, and I like have to see it because that's the way the fucking apps work. That's the thing that sucks. Like, if you're not making the comment, like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to intrude in your life, but it's just part of the game that we play, you know?
I don't think I ever have like commented on somebody else's post that I didn't like know personally.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
actually know. Like I don't just go comment on random, even like celebrities, whatever. Like I don't just go comment on people's stuff. Like unless I know them and I was probably with them when the
Yeah, yeah.
picture was taken or something, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
bro, the whip you threw that day was badass, or like whatever. Like
Yeah,
I'm
it's like
talking to
you're
them about
having a
something that,
genuine
but like I
interaction.
never like, which I guess I'm not. I mean, I guess I'm on the other side of it. Like I'm
The
the
commented on.
celebrity in this case, I guess. But like, still, I mean, like I never have felt the need to just like, I just never have given a shit about other people's lives, really. Like I'm just like, I got my tight circle
yeah.
of people.
And
that
life's hard.
and it's
It's
just
hard
like,
to win a
yeah,
championship.
It is what
it's
it
like
is.
hard to be married.
Yeah.
It's like hard to do all. I
That's
got
what-
enough going on.
Yeah, that's what it's just like, dude. Like everything will be fine. Like everything will be fine. And when it's not, I'll figure it out then.
Yeah.
That's just what I kind of, yeah, that's just kind of what I go by. I'm just like, hey, everything financially wise, everything's good right now. I'm getting paid to ride my dirt bike. I'm getting paid well. Yeah, I'm hurt, but I got it fixed. And one of these days, I probably won't be getting paid as much, and I might not be getting paid to ride a dirt bike, period. And when I'm not, guess what? That cool shit that I bought with all that money, or this that I bought, I'm gonna have to sell it. And then I'm gonna have to figure something else out. I'm gonna have to get another job or whatever. Like I'm gonna have to do this other stuff. But you know what? Like if I can, every now and then, if a kid can tell me that or even an adult, man, like that's what I think is cool. Is like, dude, all these kids can look up to guys or whatever. But when I have like at Dallas after opening ceremonies, I had 3 like war vets because that was like the
you were
military
dripped,
appreciation.
bro.
Yeah.
You were dripped.
Yeah,
That
that was like the military appreciation. I had like 3 like war vets. I was talking to them the whole time between, and we were just talking about like life, past traumas. One of them stepped on like an IED or something and blew like half his leg off, and he was just talking about like he was comparing that to like my injury, and he was so afraid to just, he had anxiety about just doing shit again, basically, and he was comparing that to how do you get back on the bike after you crash so bad or so many times, and that's what I think is cool. I'm like, dude, like these guys are literally, these are war vets. Like it doesn't get much serious than these guys, and they're talking to me and asking me how I handle riding dirt bikes. Like you would consider that a leisure sport. Like that's what people do for fun. These guys are going to war. Like, and they're like comparing our experiences, and we're just talking about life and stuff. Like that's cool. And then obviously like kids are cool too. Like obviously that's super cool to be some sort of inspiration to kids, but there's not a lot of guys out there, I don't think, that like adults look like. I got like 50-year-old people that'll send me DMs and be like, hey, like just letting you know, like whatever. This one chick, she was like, I'm a 61-year-old mother of 4. And I just want you to know that you inspire me every day. And I'm like, dude, that's cool. Like that's sick. Like that's honestly like, kids are awesome, but it doesn't take a lot to inspire a kid. Like you go do a triple, you go do a big jump.
You're on a,
I want to be like you. I want to be able to hit big jumps on my dirt bike. Like it's not hard to inspire a kid. But when adults are like, hey, that was cool. Like, or I respect that. When I got those 3 like dishonorably, I think one was still active, but the 2 were like honorably discharged. One got like his leg blown off or whatever, and we were just talking, and we're talking about guns and talking about just everything, and they were just like, "Yo, what you do is gnarly," and I'm like, looked in a mirror, bro. You're in the military, like you shoot at people, kill people for a living. Like it's pretty gnarly. But that's just
well,
that's the cool part. I mean, I was just saying that because we talked about the not cool part of it, the whole social media and just people that talk when they shouldn't and say stuff, whatever. But then that's the cool part of it, is like whenever that you have conversations like that with people that you're like, actually, this is sick. And this was like before, like I was trying to get focused on the race and everything. The 450 guys were first heat race and stuff, and they just came out and we were just talking, and I was like, we had a good conversation just now. So that was actually sick. And yeah, just talking with those guys, but that was just
and I think like what you do is inspiring, you know, like because if you're a fan of the sport and like the first couple rounds this year, like for you to come out and just fucking dominate that first round after what happened last year. Like, a lot of people in their life, like everyone has adversity, right? And everyone's got adversity in like these really different and sometimes like immeasurable ways, and like everyone's the same. But I think your adversity is like very much on display.
Yeah.
This is what happened at this exact same race last year. He fucked up his ACL. He had to do all these surgeries. Look at the scars on this dude's body. Look what he's been through for this. And he still can come out here, and you humbled yourself by going to Rhino and by going back and riding a 20-second track like a fucking kid.
Yeah.
And just publicly do that, and then to show up at the first round and fucking wax everybody. And then to show up at the second round and then start doing it again. And then just the cycle repeats. Like, that is inspiring. Like, if you're a fan of the sport, you're dealing with your own adversities in life, whatever the scale is, whether it's a dickhead boss, whether it's like a, back pain that you've had from something random, like everyone's dealing with something. And then you come along and it's like very visible the things that you've overcome, and it's very visible the way that you turned it around and to win. Like, it's so visible and it's so on display. And I think that's why people can draw that inspiration from it, because people can relate to the struggles in their own life that isn't on a world stage and that isn't in a huge stadium with fans screaming for the win with all the money on the line. Like, it's fucking inspiring.
Yeah. Everybody relates to like an underdog story. And I feel like I've now kind of, where I came in from amateurs as like a top guy, and I don't feel like I had as many fans because everybody was like, I was just overhyped, kind of like an AC situation. Like I was really hyped up because I won almost everything in amateurs. But now that I've now had bad luck and I'm having to rebuild and come back and retry, and now I feel like, like I said, everybody just loves. You always want to root for the team that lost last year.
Yeah,
that's why you never want. Yeah,
that's why the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl for those years was just so fucking dope, because for the last 50 they suck.
That's everybody wants the team or the guy to win that didn't last year, that had a terrible last year. You want him to rebound, or that had an injury last year or whatever. So I guess I'm that guy right now. So that's fine.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Were you at A2?
I think I was. We left early though, but yes, I did. Who won A2?
Fuck, I can't even remember. I was just thinking we started with that Jet combo. Did you hear him get booed?
Oh no, because we left before the
fuck.
I didn't see that.
I was gonna get your take on that. I'd never heard anything like it.
No, I that was pretty surprising. But like,
I knew it was gonna happen. I fully knew. I said to Anna, I was like, you watch, he's gonna get fucking booed. And they played the intro, like the fight there, and I was like, oh motherfucker, like you were just in a fight.
Yeah.
Like.
But it's like, you can't take anything away from Jet. He's really, really good. Like, he's really good. But that's what I think, that a lot, like, he has a lot of fans, but I think that some people are just like, they think he's had it easy, or like he hasn't like had to pay his dues, and like pretty much everybody has a couple bad years in the 450 class before they start to figure it out, or the 250 class or whatever. Which he kind of did, but like he hasn't really had that many injuries. He hasn't really, that's not to say that he hasn't, like, he just figured it out. That's what a lot of people can't relate to.
Yes.
Is guys that come in and immediately are so good, are really good at what they do, and they win almost everything at any class or Supercross or outdoors or whatever track, whatever dirt, whatever. They're just good, and that's what people can't relate to as much.
That's actually a great point.
There's a lot less people that are that good at things. Yeah. There's a lot of people. Everybody struggles at shit. There's not very many people that can respect and appreciate being really good at something.
Yeah.
So that's where like you can't. it's just it's basically just as simple as that, I guess.
It's like it's unrelatable.
Yeah.
He's unrelatably good, and then
it's
you're
unrealistic. Like it's unrealistic to everybody else's life. It's
and you're like, fuck that guy.
It's like, dude,
Yeah.
it's like you know what I had to do to get at this job that pays me $40,000, $50,000 a year at this business, at this working at sitting behind a desk. He's like, I had to go clean bathrooms for 3 years to get to this.
Yeah.
And you just immediately went in and you're winning championships and you went undefeated in your rookie season. Like that just, how am I going to relate to that? As a guy who is nobody watching
in Milwaukee
Supercross.
with my cause life.
Exactly. And that's just like, so you can't, there's very few people that can relate to that and then like appreciate it. I'm sure the guys that can relate to that see that and they're like, yeah, that's really tough to do. But then at the same time, it's like maybe they don't because those guys never had to go through the struggle as much, so they don't even know. I don't know. It's weird, but I think the best way to describe it is just that it's coming in and being as good as Jet has is unrelatable for people.
Yeah.
So they don't really know how to like. It's almost like they're not a fan just because of how good he is.
Yeah.
Which I mean I get it. That's literally human nature is to like root for. We were just talking about like root for the underdogs. Like everybody wants.
Yeah.
Nobody really wants the team last year to win. Like a bunch of people that I talked to because I'm technically a Chiefs fan because I grew up in Missouri, so I have a reason to.
Here we go.
But
Everyone
everybody,
grew up fucking
I have people
somewhere.
that are
Everyone's got an uncle. That,
yeah. They're like, I don't care who wins, just not the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I just don't want them to win.
Yeah.
And I'm like Mahomes. Like, dude, he's good.
Yeah.
He's good. Like you gotta whether you like him or not, you have to respect him at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the way I feel about Jed is like whatever. We've had our run-ins or whatever, but I mean he's still a damn good rider. Like he's damn good. So it's like you gotta, and I feel like that's what a lot of the riders, maybe not Jason, but I feel like that's what a lot of the riders do is whether they like him or not, you have to just at least give your hat up to like, hey, you're good. Like you're good. Whether I like you or not, do I like getting beat by you? You're a little baby. No, I don't, but you're good. So it's kind of, I don't know. I guess it's just.
I love the Ando rivalry. Against the both of them, like,
dude,
bro,
it
Salt
is,
Lake.
It is.
I'm watching Salt Lake, and
Salt Lake
I'm
was gnarly.
bro, just go win the fucking title. Go,
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You fucking did it.
You did it.
You did it. You shouldn't have done
I
it.
know. That's what I was like, dude. Like, Jason is a bear you don't want to poke.
No,
like, you
dude.
don't want to poke at that bear. You don't want to. Not when you're have the title wrapped up. All you got to do is finish the race.
Give me 10 laps, bro. Give me 10 clean
let him
laps.
go. Like, let him go. Who cares? Like, okay, you cleaned your brother out. That's your brother's problem at this point. Like, he left the door open. He should have known that Jason was there. Like, that's, hey, at that point, if I got a brother, like, that's on you, bro. Like, I'm not trying to do my thing here. Like, that's on you. But that's
so good. Were you there or you watching on TV?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
I don't think you could see it on TV, but Jet, there was like before you come around and then into the first rhythm section, he fully fucked up that turn. He was going like 3 onto the table and then stepping off. And that's where Ando got, and I was like, bro, like if he did, I'm so glad he fucked that up because I think then that was like a reality check.
Yeah.
But like,
I do remember that because he was like kind of charging before that.
Yeah.
And then after that, he was like, okay,
like, nah, I'm done.
No, I'm done. Yeah. Yeah, he did. And I was like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, honestly, it's over now because he settled. And at first he was trying to push and he did that to Jason and like, okay, we got to race like this. Something could happen here. Now he's just like, he'll let a couple more guys by. He'll probably ride to 8th, 9th, whatever. And he has to get 14th or 15th or something like that. So I was like, it's over now. So, but yeah, no, I was.
But just the fact that it's like 2 of them and Ando's just down for the cause, just fucking loves it.
Yeah.
I just think it's the best thing.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It is. Yeah, that was an interesting rivalry, unexpected, I guess. Like
the rivalry we didn't know we needed.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm fucking glad we got it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, everybody, I was just like, I was stoked about it. Like whenever I saw Jason and Jet get all into it in each other's faces and stuff, I was like,
Yeah, we need a bit more of it.
We need a little. You
We
need,
need- we
you
need
need
a
a
bit
little
more.
bit of it. Yeah, exactly.
It's been pretty stagnant for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like we just haven't. And when it's with like Vince, it just doesn't hit the same because he's like not one of the top guys.
Yeah.
Like when you see the fucking top dudes doing it,
Yeah.
that's what we want.
Yeah.
Like like some privateers fighting's cool, but like let me see
Yeah.
the fucking big boys.
And
go
then
at it.
there's a lot of guys that's why they're like yeah, I want to see these guys absolutely just blast each other. Like let's
Yeah.
go. Like that's
Yeah.
some people just feed off that shit. They're like anytime there's any drama
Yeah.
or anything, they're like this is why I like moto. The talent, the comeback story. You guys can have
Yeah,
all
keep
that.
that
I
shit.
want these guys to fight. This is what I want to
Yeah,
see. I want
yeah.
to see them clean each other out. Like this is they're just
That's like UFC fans. As
different
soon
mo-
as they're
yeah.
like grappling, they stand them up. stand 'em up.
yeah. Exactly. It's just different
Uh,
moto fans, I guess. But that's funny.
How were you like the last dude making good money as an amateur? Do you think did it like dry up after you, or did it dry up after AC? Like where in the amateur money thing did you like rank?
Well, actually, I mean, as far as like making money during amateurs,
Yeah.
it got better after me because I know some of the guys
Really?
that were making like what they were getting paid in bonus money.
Who was after you then? Who would have been the highest paid am dude? You reckon?
Well, Millsaps
Yeah, right. Do you know what he was making?
a lot.
How much? Like roughly?
Well, I heard his rookie year of like his first year on a 250 was 700.
Fuck, that's
or
pretty good
800.
money, eh?
That's crazy.
For a 250 guy.
That's good money for 450s now.
Yeah.
Like there's very few 450 guys I would say getting paid over $1 million. I would say there's probably four.
Really?
Yeah, there's probably Jet, Cooper, Tomac, maybe Jason.
I'd say maybe not from
Maybe
factory.
Hunter, maybe, but I don't think Hunter. But I don't know. But Ken's probably getting paid pretty good. I think Ken's getting paid. I think they pulled some money for a budget for him. But
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, it's just because he's Ken. Like he
Yeah.
has such a huge following, and everybody loves Ken. So
And he's gonna win races.
and
every
he
year.
will win race. He will be
Yeah.
at the front. He will win heat races 100%, and he'll probably win a main or two as well.
Yeah.
So, and that's what he did. This
And
year.
everyone
Won.
will love him.
And everybody loves him.
He's
Yep,
doing it.
everybody loves him. Yep, that's Ken. So
But
um,
amateurs wise, was it like you were in one of the sweet spots? You reckon?
I was in a pretty good spot. I probably didn't get paid quite as much as Adam. But Adam was like a straight phenom. I mean,
Yeah.
I was good. Like I was good, but Adam.
But you were
was like,
right after Adam too,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
like it would be very hard to like eclipse him.
Yeah. I was. Yeah, exactly. I think that Reynolds probably got paid pretty good as an amateur just
Huh.
because he won everything. So he was
Yeah.
like a phenom.
So
too.
it was bonuses. Like that's really where the money
Yeah,
was. For
like
the
they were.
amateur
I
stuff.
was told after that some of the guys were getting paid like 10 grand to win an amateur race in bonus money
like a class.
as an amateur per class, which that's like a lot.
do, like,
I was
30
making like
Gs
I
a
was making
weekend.
like 2,500
right.
when I was an amateur to win a class,
yeah.
like
right.
2,500 or something like that, and that's which that was sick money too. Like that's fine. Like I mean, I was fine with that. But I think it went up a little bit, and then now I think it's starting to come back down a little bit again. Like I don't think. I mean now, I think that good amateur guys are getting more rare and rare, like coming out of amateurs. I guess for whatever reason, I don't know
Yeah,
what
what's
it
the
is.
deal?
I don't know why, but I feel like
We were actually just talking about that
Yeah.
before the podcast started. We were like, yeah, I just feel like the AM thing is just kind of like not the same.
less and less guys that actually make it
Mm.
come out of amateurs every year. I feel
I
like
just don't think
don't
Loretta's
know what it
does
is.
enough for you.
Loretta's is not a realistic track. Like, it's a-
Loretta's does do amazing is like, all right, can you handle the pressure?
Yeah.
Like it creates a pressure
It
cooker
creates a-
environment,
yep.
and that's a good thing.
Yep.
Like to test a kid, but in terms of like getting them ready to rate, like I don't think it gets you ready to go pro at all. Like I went to Loretta's last year and I was like, oh, there's a lot of dudes fading after 20 minutes. Like that's not great.
No,
This isn't good for you.
no,
Going pro.
no. And yeah, I don't know why that is, but like there's just less dudes, I feel like, coming out of amateurs that are like
Ready.
just getting a factory ride.
Yeah.
Like who came out of amateurs this year? Got a factory ride? Cochran?
Dax and Cochran.
Dax was last year.
True way. And they're not doing good. You know, like think about like Izzy, Stroop,
Kennard. Kennard
Yeah.
won his rookie season.
Kennard.
Villo.
Yeah.
Like guys,
they were just ready,
it was
dude.
immediately.
Ready.
Like it was immediately, and I was pretty good. I won that last outdoor race my rookie season, so I wasn't bad. But like, and Adam was good. He won all those races his rookie
His
Supercross
first
until
Supercross.
he blew his shoulder out or whatever he did. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just that the competition's gnarlier or like.
I think it's probably that.
Yeah.
Like I think you guys, the
Yeah.
level's fucking
Yeah.
crazy, and it's stacked. And just to get the mental edge that it takes, like look at what Deegan's doing this season, and it's his second full year, or is it third year into? Fuck, I honestly can't even remember. But it's like he won everything. Like he was about as dominant as you could be in the AMs, and it's like it took him a little bit. You know, like it's taken him seasons.
Yeah.
To get to the point where he's got like the confidence and the focus
Yeah.
and this like everything's kind of
Yeah.
lining up. And I
He's-
think it's just
yeah.
because the competition's just fucking gnarly
It's
now.
gnarly. And I think it's too like rides are so hard to come by now. Like back in the day, like everybody pretty much would go 1, 2, maybe 3 years in the 250 class and be into the 450 class immediately. 125, 4 to 250, whatever it was back. But you would not spend, there were like more available rides, I feel like, or just something. Maybe you would go to the lights class, and because it was easier, you would immediately win or immediately be battling for championships, and you'd be like, okay, I got my experience I needed in this class onto the main class. Where now it's like, dude, it's like, I mean, half the time the better racing is in the 250 class now. Like, I mean, sometimes, like not all the time, but like, I mean,
Dude, I'd agree.
like
There's a lot of great
there's
racing.
a
in
lot
the
of great
lights
racing in
class.
the 250 class. So like that's what it's almost not as and there's older guys riding it. Like I'm about to turn 26. RJ just won a championship at 30, 31, something like that. Craig when he
the
won his
year
championship,
before.
it was 30 something, around 30. Like Osborne, he didn't win his till about the
He
same.
was 40.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just like guys are older, staying in the 250 class now for whatever reason it is. Whether it
Well,
be less
because there's no
rides
rides in
or,
the
or
450.
whatever.
Yeah,
it's
where do you
just-
go?
And that's, I mean, you can either, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like you kind of bet on yourself, is you can either take a salary cut and ride a 250, but have a chance at winning a championship and winning races and making bonus money. But in the 450 class, you'll have a bigger salary, but
You
it's
get to
going to
do
be
your own
a
gear
lot
deal
harder. You're
and-
going to have
yeah.
your own gear deal, so you're going to make more money like that. But it's going to be a lot harder to get that bonus money in the 450 class. You might go all year with not getting any bonuses. If you get a bonus, a podium,
better.
it's going to be big, but you might not get one all year. So you're pretty much in 450 class, unless you're one of the top 3 guys. I mean, you're pretty much relying off salary. You're not making enough
Yeah, off bonuses,
from
to move the
bonuses
needle.
to be like, okay, this is yes, finally I got a podium. Finally, I've been needing this bonus check. It's not
Yeah.
it's not like that unless you're getting unless you're like winning a lot of stuff or getting on the podium almost every weekend.
Yeah.
So it's like but it's just a trade-off where some guys they would prefer to. Me, with how my years have went, I would prefer a bigger salary, just because with how my track record of getting hurt, I would rather have a bigger salary and less bonuses, just for that reason of getting hurt.
Yeah.
Just for, if I do, I'm still going to be making good money. But some guys would rather them just take a chance and be like, I
Yeah.
think I can win. Like, that's how I think Star pays their guy. I don't think Star pays very well at all. So I think but they have a great bike. So that's what,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of they say, hey, we're not going to pay you well at all. But if you get a podium and you win a championship, you're going to make good money. But
Yeah.
if not, you're going to make no money or very little.
Yeah.
So I think that's just kind of how they run that. But it's just like different guys negotiate different contracts. Like that's what my agent and Ricky's agent are the same, and they said that towards the end of Ricky's
Oh, JH does all your stuff.
yeah,
I
JH
forgot
does all
about
that
that.
stuff. So they said that by the end of his, at the beginning it was kind of he had to win. He took less salary, more bonus money. But then at the end of his career, it was almost like he was expected to win at least one championship for the year. So they would almost just pay him as if just a salary. And for his last couple of years, I don't even know if he got bonus race wins, like race win bonuses or even championship bonus. They would just pay him enough in his salary that it was like, here's salary.
Yeah, you're good.
You're probably going to win at least one championship this year, maybe two.
I heard,
so
I
here
heard
you go.
Suzuki was fucked for ages paying his bonus money back.
It was
like years they were
was
paying him
him.
after he retired, and Dunge.
And him, Dunge, and Reed. All three. Reed rode for him for like 2 years.
Yeah,
or
they
something.
just cleaned
They
him
just
up.
cleaned
Just
them.
fully sent
That's
Suzuki,
what,
bro.
and it's crazy because it's like,
That's why there's no electric start.
I guess, dude. It's crazy because it's like, that's what I was talking to somebody about that. And they were like, well, how did that happen? Because isn't that what you want?
Yeah, but you don't sell it. Like, it's not like just because Ricky won a championship and like the reason why is to sell motorcycles, right? But it's like it's just doesn't. You can't sell enough motorcycles. Like Suzuki wouldn't have even made enough 450s that if they sold all of the 450s to pay Ricky. Like, I'm pretty sure that could be me just speaking out of my ass, but it's like if he made fucking $8-9 million. You're not selling you're not making $9 million off RMZ 450s. Like, it's kind of broken how that works, you know?
Yeah, that's what somebody was asking me that the other day. They were like, well, how did that happen to Suzuki? Because I was explaining, somebody asked me like about Suzuki, how that, what's the deal with Suzuki? You know, why are they considered like old bikes or whatever? And I was just somebody that didn't know that much.
Yeah.
I was like, well, they at one point were the best. They won everything with Ricky, and then Chad won an outdoor championship in 2009 for him, and then it was Dunge for like 2 years after that, and then so they won everything for probably 5 years. They won almost every single championship, and
that's probably like a $40 million payout.
Yeah, and then the person was like, well, why did they go bankrupt? Isn't that what you want? Don't you want your guys to win everything? And I was like, actually, that's a good point. Why? I was like, I guess they were
just do the
paying
math.
them too much. I guess maybe I was like, but how could they? Doesn't make sense how they would like allow that to happen. Like,
yeah.
as a
Well,
business,
a lot
how
of
would
people
you-
too, they would like, so the year that Malcolm rode for JDR, so like the championship bonus, what, 500 grand or whatever it is. So I'm pretty sure they bought an insurance package on the championship. So if Mookie, they'd pay like 100 grand or 80 grand or whatever the premium was for the insurance policy. And if Mookie won the title, the insurance company would pay the win bonus, not the team. So like, yeah, all that shit, there's so much that goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you think if you spent $8 million on, you know, salaries and bonuses, like that's a lot of fucking RM 450s that you got to sell to make that shit up, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like there's just probably not that many people in the world buying RMZ 450s, no matter how good they are.
I don't know. I don't know about all the. I don't know for sure about all the crazy numbers that people say that, oh, this guy rode for. He made 10 million in 1 year.
20 million,
I
James.
I
That's a
don't.
lot.
I don't know that. Some of the, at least from what JH has told me, that some of the numbers that everybody's like, I mean, because he worked for Ricky, so Ricky,
Yeah,
he knows
know.
he knows what Ricky made. So, and Ricky is
The best.
so
Yeah.
he probably has an idea of what all these other guys are making, and I think it was maybe it was like Ken's contract came out that they were like, oh yeah, it's like 20 million for like 2 years or 3
Yeah,
years or
there's no
something.
way.
JH was like, it's not.
No.
There's no way that it's that. Like they're like he's like I can tell you what Ricky was making, and that makes no sense because the market, like that was like before everything dropped or whatever. Whenever Millsaps was getting paid 700 grand to ride a rookie 250 or whatever, like that was back then. So everybody was getting paid more then and less now. So like he was like, I don't think there's any way that some of these numbers that get thrown around that they're like, oh, when when this guy won this and when he went undefeated, like I know what everybody made. Like I know how much bonuses are for a typical, like this is kind of just common knowledge. I feel like everybody knows this, but it's like a typical 250 bonus, no matter what team you ride for, is 50 to win a race, and for 450 it's 100 to win a race.
Yeah.
And then for a championship bonus, it's 500 on 250, a million on 450. So that's like, let's say, I mean, very few guys I would say are getting a salary. Like I said, only probably a few guys are getting paid even in the over $1 million salary. And that's, if you're winning if you're winning both championships plus the SMX race, if you're making $5 million a year, and that's with a $1 million salary, winning outdoors and Supercross, and let's say you win SMX2 and a number of races throughout the year, that would be about $5 million. That is a lot of money for a pro dirt bike rider. $5 million a year is crazy money. You are one of, if not the very top.
But think about all the shit your body's been through. I would expect, with like knowing the crashes and like seeing the footage of what, I would hope you get $5 million just to put your body through what you put it through.
No,
you know?
I'm not saying that is good money. Comparatively
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
stick and ball sports, it's terrible money. But I'm just saying that like all these numbers of, oh, this guy made 20 million in 2 years or in 1 year, or this guy made 10 million in 1 year. I don't think, I don't know, maybe, but I don't think there's any way the guys are making that much. Just from my basic math, what I can do and think of now, if you can make over, hell, if you make over 2 million in a year being a professional dirt bike rider, there's probably within, I mean, like I said, there's probably only 4 guys that make over $1 million a year as a professional moto rider, which sucks. And which, I mean, I guess they're trying to help, and they're trying to help with SMX racing and stuff like that. But it just sucks that moto's not I guess mainstream enough. Like, you know what, something that I think would be correct. Can you imagine something that I'm super big proponent for? I just don't know if they have enough pull yet. Like, I don't know but can you imagine if Troy did a Netflix? Did a Formula One, an F1, the same exact thing, but for moto. Can you imagine that?
It's called Ride to Survive.
Dude.
We already have it.
Oh, I guess. But
No. Like, we got the name, we got the sport, we got like, we've got it. It's right here. Just come and do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking come and take it.
It would be so sick.
Unbelievable.
It would be crazy. Like, that would just
think about your shit. Like,
it would show just the rawness of it. Like, it would make the Formula One series look stupid.
Yeah, it would make them.
It would make them look like such little prima
pussies.
donnas. Yeah, exactly. It would. It would like we're wadding up, coming back. Mechanics are fixing this, fixing that. When they bump into a wall and they're out for the day.
Yeah,
and it's like some of their crashes are gnarly, but it's like majority of the time they probably just break like an A-arm on the car. They clip something, break a wheel off, and they're done for the day.
Yeah, and then they unplug their thing, they put it out, they get out, and they go.
And then they just go. And that's like, we're laid out.
And you're like, and then neck brace.
And then we're out for months having surgeries. Like, that's just, it would show the brutalness of the sport.
Imagine if they like took Netflix, like let's just go Netflix, Austin, Forkner, Arlington. Like, let's say they were focusing on you.
If they followed me for that race, it would have been wild, dude. The footage they would have gotten just after of me in the medic rig. I was apparently saying I was fine. I was raising my shoulder above my head like it wasn't busted. Saying my back was fine. My mom was freaking out. My chick's trying to get everybody together, like trying to, hey, everybody, it's okay. Like, everybody, it's fine. Like, Rhino's crying because Riley was like, Rhino was saying, I'm never going to win a championship. And he was crying. Tony's like losing it. He's like, it was a mess. So, dude, if that race alone, if they would have followed that 1 episode, 2 episodes out of that race for me alone, it would have.
And then let's fast forward a couple months, and you now have a fucking plate in your skull and a huge Frankenstein scar across your forehead. Like, the shit's gnarly, bro.
Yeah, gnarly. So that's like the only sport that I can really compare to moto is like fighting.
Yeah,
it's like when those guys, when you see those guys like kick somebody in MMA and they break their leg on the other dude's leg or something like that, and then they step back on it and the thing tweaks to the side. That's about the only thing where I'm like,
That's gnarly.
that's gnarly. And the
Well-
other day we watched a bare knuckle boxing fight.
Oh, dirty, bro.
I feel like I'm watching like a dark website that you like shouldn't be watching when I
Yes.
watch that shit. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching somebody get murdered when I watch that. Like this one
Yeah,
dude,
this shouldn't be okay.
it shouldn't be okay to watch this. Like I feel like one of them, they were fighting in like a parking garage. This dude got hit, was out, locked up, was falling forward, and the dude uppercutted him again as he's going down, and then falls on the concrete. And I'm just
Bro.
like this doesn't feel like I'm like uncomfortable watching this. Like I feel like I'm watching these guys. This guy might be a vegetable now. Like he
Yeah.
might not not work anymore. Like he might be shut down now. Like if he's alive, he might not be good anymore. Like I
Yeah.
don't feel like I should be being like, yes, my favorite fighter just killed this dude.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
this dude
yeah.
is no longer okay. Like I don't feel like I
Yeah.
should be like, I feel like this is like when they would feed the Romans to lions, and like I feel like this is like, oh, how do you think? Like, yes, let's go watch this guy. It's Saturday night. Let's go get the family and let's go watch this guy get eaten by a lion. Like this is gnarly. Like watching this is gnarly.
When you put it like that, though, we've come a long way.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
we're
I
pretty
guess.
fucking civilized,
Yeah.
really, because like spears, chariots, lions.
They used to literally just be like, oh, it's Saturday night. What are we gonna do? Let's go watch a couple people get murdered at a Coliseum for no reason.
Have you ever
I mean,
been
I guess
to the Coliseum?
no, I really want
Dude,
to.
it's
I want to go
fucking
there. I want to go
heavy.
to the pyramids.
Yeah.
I want to go. I'm interested in all that stuff. Like I watch all the conspiracy shows and all the things about all that stuff. And I want to go. Actually, we might go. Maybe we'll go while I'm off for this season. That'd be sick.
Where would you go first?
Egypt.
Yeah,
pyramids.
Egypt's fucking gnarly though, bro.
I know. That's
And
the
especially
only
with
thing.
like a tall,
That's the
blonde,
only thing.
blue-eyed wife.
I know.
It's not the move.
That's the only thing that I'm like worried about is like going places and then not like knowing or
Yeah,
having like a
yeah.
sketchy tour guide
Yeah.
or just something just not being
Egypt's
right
like
with that.
kind of not cool at
Yeah,
the moment.
that's
I got
what-
friends that,
Oh yeah, with the whole because that's like there's like a war going on or something.
There's
down
always
there,
something
right?
going
Yeah,
on
there's
there.
always something going
but
on,
I got friends that they'll do like a $60,000 dinner, right? So like that's the level. So imagine what their holidays are like if they'll do a $60,000 dinner.
Yeah,
They can pay for all the security. They can pay for the best of everything. And they went to Egypt, and my friend's wife was like, "Nah, wasn't cool. Didn't feel safe. Like, not the fucking move." So like, if you got all the money like that to have a trip, and you come home saying like that's kind of sketchy.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm like kind of scared. I
Yeah,
think it was
maybe
if
not.
it was just you, probably sweet. But yeah, fuck. But
Yeah.
dude, go
Riley's
to like
she's a hazard to take anywhere.
I know,
She's
just-
just too pretty.
but the Colosseum, Rome's just fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
I want to go
bro.
to I want to go see all that old, just the old stuff. I'm interested in things that they built, big things they built back in the
with
day.
nothing,
With nothing.
just slaves.
How they
bro.
did it.
just slaves.
Like how long it took to build the pyramids, and how like you probably don't realize that until you're there and you see it. Until like I've seen like POV like videos of when you get there and you like drive up because there's like a whole town right outside the pyramids that like have modern buildings and stuff, and
Yep.
the pyramids just they just tower over everything. And this
Yeah.
is like these guys built these things
By
from
hand.
dragging them. They dragged them stories and stories up into the sky
In the
and then
desert, in
the
sand,
desert
like-
from however many miles they came away to even get those stones, and then they just it just and then the same with the Colosseum, like how they built that's got to be crazy looking and stuff in person too. So that's what I'm like, I want to go to some places like that.
Yeah, do some shit while you're off.
We were
if
talking
you can.
about that
Yeah.
with this one, but I didn't even think of that it might be a little sketchy.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
even think
Egypt.
about
Yeah, at least the last time I heard. So what's the deal with this injury? So like, it's not really an injury. This is like a condition in a sense. Like you
Yeah.
knew about it.
Yeah.
We've been going over 3 hours, so I don't want to
Okay.
keep you too much
No,
longer.
you're good.
But yeah. So you basically like you go in, you're doing the scans and stuff for this, and then it's something you kind of knew about, and then they're like, okay, we need to fix this.
After the surgery, they or after I crashed at Dallas, they ran me through some scans. They're like, hey, you have a AVM, they call it. It's a cluster of blood vessels in your right part of your brain. Did you know that? And I was like, yeah, I knew that because we knew it from 2017. I had a crash and it bled. But at the time, it was really small. But those like AVMs, they were what caused like strokes or like aneurysms, seizures, stuff like that. It can anyway. And if they get big enough. And some people will have them forever, never have a problem, be fine. Mine from whatever hit my head maybe or whatever, maybe just general life, just it got bigger. And from this scan, I was seeing like Ryman and some of the guys just worked for, they were like, you're going to have to go through you're going to have to take your baseline test and redo that stuff before we let you ride again. And Cowie wouldn't let me ride until they got an approval from a doctor.
Which is great.
Yeah, which is fine. My shoulder was good. My back was good. And I was like, okay, like, hey, I'm outdoors in like 3 weeks.
So you could ride now physically.
Like, easy. I could have ridden 6 weeks ago. Like easy. I probably could have ridden a month to 6 weeks after the crash. And I was like, hey, outdoors in like 3 weeks. Like I'm already cutting it pretty tight. Like I need to, like I'll take my baseline test. That's easy. I'll knock that out. Do I need to go see, you said I need to go see a guy and I thought it was going to be, hey, I walk in, see this guy. He's going to say, follow my finger, do some balancing tests, have a conversation with me, ask me if I remember what happened. That's it. And went and saw this guy, and he told me the first time, he was like, oh, yeah, you're good from your concussion. He was like, I can tell you're just your conversation. I can tell you're fine.
Yeah, you're here. You're in the room.
Yeah, but then I didn't hear from him for like weeks. And I was like, it was probably like a month out or 5 weeks out from, and I was like, now it's 3 weeks out. We gotta like get this going. And I was like, got Mitch involved. I was like, hey, you need to like get a hold of these guys. I was like, I don't know what the deal is, but like no one's telling me anything. They're just like, they're complaining about this thing that is not a problem. I have had it looked at before. It's fine. And then finally they called me in and sat me down. I walked in and like Ryman was in there and a couple other doctors. And I was like, probably not getting released today, am I? They were like, no. And they were like, this thing's bigger and it can cause problems if it bleeds again. It could bleed any time. It could cause you a stroke while you're riding. If this thing were to make you have a stroke or make you have an aneurysm or a seizure while you're riding and it bleeds and then you crash on top of that and then you crash and hit your head on an already bleeding brain. It was like, that's when you get like not good shit. And you can get obviously bad stuff from a stroke or a seizure or anything anyway. But then if you...
Yeah, these are all words we try and avoid in our life.
But then if you have one of those and then a crash, and then that causes a crash or driving or riding or anything, then that's not good. So, it was kind of it's just a hereditary thing. Like I was born with it. They said if you don't have a problem, if it never has a problem by the time you're 50, you probably won't ever have a problem. But because mine bled back then, it immediately raised the percentage. So I'm like a 4% chance. I was like a 4% chance of it bleeding, but they stack every year. So 4, 8, 12, 16,
so
whatever.
It's just a matter of time.
So eventually something was going to happen.
Fuck, that's scary.
Yeah. So the doctor never told me, the one I saw, he never told me that I needed surgery. He was just like, right now you're at a 4% chance. Next year you're going to be 8. The year after that it's going to be 12. But it's actually probably higher than that because you've known about it but let's say it was a 1 or 2% chance back 2017, 7 years. So you're probably at a 14% chance. So plus now the 4% now, let's say at minimum, you're 15 to 20% chance of it bleeding at any point right now. Do you want to take that risk? And I had me and JH on the phone and Riley in the room. We were all like, okay, so what do we need to do? It wasn't the way he laid it out was like, it's not a question.
Yeah.
It's not a question. It just is one of those things where it was like, this is frustrating because I'm coming off of an injury and I'm fine from the injury, but now I have a just life medical condition issue that I got to take care of now. And it's going to keep me off from riding for the rest of the year and frustrating, but it's like, it wasn't a, can I just get my knee fixed at the end of the year?
Yeah,
I could make it through outdoors.
yeah.
Like I could probably make it through outdoors. It wasn't I can make it through, but if I dab my leg, if you dab your leg, it might tear your ACL and you might have to get it fixed. Oh, okay, but so there's a chance I could make it through, which there is a chance, but it's like the chance of this
at some point.
If something goes wrong, it could be like life threatening. It could be like a life or death thing. So that's what it was like. Okay, then that's easy. Then we need to fix it then. So what do we need to do? And the guy was like, well, he's like, I need to go in there and I need to cut it out. And I'm going to go in. I'm going to cut through your skull. I'm going to go in. I'm going to take it out. And I'm going to put a plate on your head and I'm going to put your skull back in. And I'm going to screw it all back together.
was like, okay. So then I got that done 9 days ago now, and I got a big ass
Oh,
scar all the way across the front. Goes from here all the way to
that is crazy,
here,
brother.
and then I have 2 more here. Like, dude, I can't imagine what the actual surgery itself looked like because like it from what it looks like they just
You just
halfway
scalp you, bro.
scalped me,
Yeah.
and they just scalped it. And I think I have 2 staples over here. I think they stapled my own scalp to my head so they could work in the front. And gnarly. Yeah, gnarly. It's actually wasn't as bad as I thought though. Like I thought I was gonna wake up and have like oh my god, like anything just like like I just need to sit here and just do this and just like just
suffer
be like
through it.
in
Yeah.
my like a serious migraine, just like bad. Really wasn't like that. I would just get pressure in my head from time to time, and I would just kind of have to okay, and then just kind of take pain meds as I need to and stuff. As long as I kept a good schedule of my pain meds. Like now I haven't taken any today, so pretty much good I'm pretty much good now, honestly. But it was really like just the scariness of whenever they first brought me in until I'm thinking I'm about to ride. And then they call me in and they tell me they couldn't tell me anything because they weren't neurosurgeons. They were just neurologists or whatever. They were more concussion
Yeah, they needed
guys.
to wait for the guy.
But they
that
were
could
like,
tell you.
basically, they said, you need to get this fixed. You need to have brain surgery. We don't know when your recovery time is. We don't know if you can ride ever again. We don't know how serious this is. But all we can tell you is, from our experience, this needs to be fixed now. And the only way to fix that is to cut into your skull and cut it out. And from just them telling me that, I'm just like, what? Like, I just walked in here thinking I'm going to get released today, and now I'm having to go see a neurosurgeon to schedule brain surgery? Like, you serious? And then, so that was like the part where I kind of had to be like, okay, like, this is gnarly. And then once I went and talked to the actual surgeon, this gnarly guy up in Stanford that was like their head guy for a while.
Yeah.
Once I went and talked to that guy, he kind of put my head at ease. He was like, dude, I've taken a literal fist-sized piece of somebody's brain out of their head before, permanently. And they were up, eating, drinking, walking, talking the next day. Probably are
That is
fine. You would never know.
Real.
Yeah. He was like, I've taken I put my fist in their head. And that's how big of and they are permanently without that piece of brain. And they're fine.
You know, have you ever done any like research into just crazy brain shit?
No.
Right.
That's why I was so I know every other body part. But like 2 things, I've even had like my guts, my pancreas and my spleen. I tore those all up. I don't have a spleen. I have part of my pancreas gone. But brain and heart, you never really think about those. Those are like 2 things just because the guy straight up told me too, because I was asking him like, hey, is that related to my arm? Is this like, what are the chances of that fixing this? Or like, what is this? And he was like, honestly, dude, he was like, I can't tell you everything because we don't know.
Yeah.
He was like, he was like, you're going to be fine from this surgery. He was like, we're going to do this and you're going to be fine. But he was like, is it going to fix your arm? Is it going to fix this or fix that? Or is this going to be okay? Or is this never going to, he was like, I can't 100% tell you that just because we don't exactly know how the brain works in every single way, or the nervous system from the brain to the rest of the body, or the same way with like the heart. Like they don't know how all of that stuff works exactly. I think the brain more so even than the heart. Like they don't know how much, like just exactly how it works. But like he straight up told me, he was like, we don't know how everything works.
Yeah.
So he was like, if you experience, if your arm goes completely back to normal, I wouldn't be completely surprised. If it does nothing, I wouldn't be completely surprised.
Wouldn't be
It wouldn't be
surprised.
surprised. Like he's like, I can't really tell you much from that. He's like, I'm just telling you that we need to get this out so you don't have a stroke, basically.
Yeah.
But he was like, I've seen crazier things. He's like, we don't know all about like brains and stuff. But he was like, I can tell you, you're gonna be fine from this surgery. This is gonna be a piece of cake for him.
It's just
basically.
a time thing.
He was like, it's gonna be whatever,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be back on the bike in 3 months. He was like, I can tell you that. He's like, I'm really confident by September you'll be back on a bike, like pretty almost 100%. And I was like, okay. So after talking to him, that kind of put my mind at ease. But still, I was like, I just didn't know how I would feel after. I just didn't know like what, like Yeah, it was. I had to have like 3 surgeries. They did, or the first two were like more procedures. They ran like a catheter up my leg,
Yeah.
and then put like they released the MRI dye.
dye.
They took an angiogram, contrast, so they could look at it. Figured out there was one main blood vessel feeding it. So then the surgeon said, okay, well that makes my job easy. I'm gonna have the same guy that did that before you come up to me for surgery. You're gonna go to surgery with him, and he's gonna go in and plug it to
Yeah.
stop the blood supply, so it'll actually shrink a little bit, and it'll just be easier to cut out if there's no blood supply to it. It's like I don't have to worry about it bleeding.
Yeah.
So he was like, "You're gonna go see him first on Monday for surgery. He's gonna knock you out. He's gonna do that. That'll take about 30 minutes. Then you're gonna stay knocked out. And you're gonna transfer up to me, and then I'm gonna take it out." So that's what happened. So, and it was honestly, I thought it was gonna be worse. I thought it was gonna be way more pain. The only really bad, actually, like I had 2 days where I got my eating and my pain med schedule all messed up, and was taking a pain
Pain
meds
med on
and,
an
and,
empty
and they were
stomach
making
and
they were
stuff.
empty stomach, and then the pain med would make me like high and kind of dizzy, which then would also upset my stomach.
Yeah.
And then that would make me not want to eat even when I was started to get hungry. Then that would make me not want to eat. But then,
Yeah.
okay, then it started to fade off. I'm starting to get some headaches again. I need another one, but I need to eat. But I just messed up my eating and pain med schedule for 2 days. And we had to drive back. And one of those days was driving back. So that was pretty rough. But now you would really never notice it right now. Like I'm pretty much normal.
Yeah.
And in 2 more weeks, I go to get my staples out. And from then on, I can start doing workouts and all that stuff. But yeah, I do have a pretty big, probably the size of my hand plate right here that I can't feel. I can't feel anything from about probably here to, yeah, that's all numb, to about right there. So I think they put that about right there. So that's what they said they were going to do. It's pretty gnarly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, my stomach was more gnarly as far as like how I felt after, and I was in the hospital
Oh,
for
that's
like a
the
week
worst,
for my
bro.
stomach. My stomach was gnarly. I bled out. Like I threw up blood like for like they had like a car crash victim and like a gunshot victim that were more priority than me. So they just left me sitting in there just internally bleeding for like hours before they took me back. And I ended up puking up just black, just like blood. And that was pretty scary. That was probably even more scary than my head. The head thing was just so like bizarre and so
Surprising
sudden. And so
and
just like just surprising and sudden, and just not I didn't think it, like I didn't think from what they talked about back in 2017, I didn't think this would. They didn't act like it would. They were like, hey, basically they were like, it's really small. We're not worried about the size right now. The only thing we're worried about is basically we just want you to hit your head again. And if it bleeds again, if it keeps bleeding when you hit your head, then
We know we have a problem.
We have a problem.
Yeah.
Hasn't bled since then, never had a problem since then. So that's why I was like, okay, this thing's fine. Like every time I get a scan of my head or something, they all always say the same thing. Hey, do you know about this? And I'm like, yes. Did it bleed? I'm like, no. I'm like, okay, well then it's good.
Yeah.
And this time that's what's the same. I was like, did it bleed? No. Well, then it's good. And they were like, no, it's pretty big. And I was like, oh, okay. So, but yeah, I'm good now, and I'll be back on the bike in September. So, pretty gnarly. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
It is, bro.
It's pretty gnarly.
You
but
fucking bled for this sport.
yeah.
And I got a lot of respect for you for that.
Yeah.
You're a guy, like, you said it well, like that underdog story. Like, to go back to 2018 when you should have probably won that championship against Chase. And then since then, just it's been hit after hit after hit after hit. And you come back, and you always come back fast as fuck.
That's what.
And you're always, you're a guy that has been hit down and knocked down over and over, and you keep coming back. And when you do, you're fast as fuck.
That's
and I think a lot of
yeah.
people respect that.
That's what nobody can, like, you can not like me for whatever reason, or you can say anything, whatever. You can say I blow it, or I'm old in the 250, whatever you want to say. But you can't. One thing I do every time is I get hurt, and not just little injuries. I'll blow a knee. I had 2 ACLs in my right knee alone done last year. I tore it, came back, tore it again, and had to get it fixed again. Big injuries, and I still come back every time, and I'm battling for race wins and stuff immediately. So, like, that's what I'm honestly most proud about. Like, if there's anything that I'm proud about in my career or whatever. It's just that every single time that I do go down, like, or have a big injury, like that could take years to get over or whatever, like immediately I'm straight back to it. I'm straight back to being one of the guys immediately. So that's what I'm like, I guess, just stoked with in myself or whatever. But, and that's something that you can argue and say whatever you want about me. I've heard everything, but that's one thing that you can't really argue with me is that, hey, am I going to get hurt? Probably. But when I come back, I will be one of the fastest guys. Like, I will be. So until I get hurt again. But that's just part of it. Hopefully I'll figure it out. Maybe I won't. Maybe that'll just be my story. But either way, I mean, Rhino tells me all the time, he's like, you know why you keep getting rides and you know why people like you is because you have a story. It's like people that don't have stories. He's like, that's half the battle is unless you're winning every race and being the top guy, you need a story to be able to keep making a living in this sport. And he's like, I never won any championships, but he was like, I never gave up. I had the fight and the grit and stuff that people respected and the comeback, and I had a story. And he's like, that's why I kept getting rides and kept getting, opportunities and why I've made a good living off this sport. So he's like, me and Rhino are pretty similar in that way. So he's like, just know that a story is, I mean, just look at, Dino or Ken or anybody like that. Like Trey's last couple of years, like they weren't winning. I mean, Ken still wins, but Dino hasn't won anything for a while. But guess what? Everybody loves him. And I bet he's still making pretty damn good money being a professional dirt bike rider. And he's still making a good enough living. And he's had a long career. And he has a lot of fans. Yeah. And he'll still make more money off the sport in the future, just because of that. Because he has fans and stuff like that. So that's what Rhino just tells me all the time. He's just like, so just don't just know that a championship and being somebody who wins lots of championships is not the only way to be successful in this sport. Like there are other ways. 100%. And he's like, he's just like, just know that if you never win a championship, he's like, that doesn't mean you're a failure. That doesn't mean you're a professional motocross rider and you're one of the gnarliest dudes. And that's it's like, that's something alone to be proud about. But he's like, that's probably something that he had to tell himself as well. Yeah. If you don't win a championship is the ultimate goal. You can win as many races as you want. Won like 14 now or something races, but they're not a championship. None of them are ever a championship. So that's like, if you don't win a championship as a professional rider, you feel like a failure. Even if there's a bunch of guys that don't win 450 championships, but a lot of them have still won a 250 championship. Yeah. So even just not winning a championship period makes you feel like a little bit of a failure. But that's kind of just what I kind of live off of now is like I was saying earlier, just those conversations with those three veteran guys. That was super sick. That said that they found some sort of inspiration within my story. And if I would have came out and won everything since I was an amateur, I wouldn't have had that conversation or had that sort of effect on those guys' lives, I guess, which is sometimes I would take like the championship bonus check. That'd be really nice. But
yeah, it's not everything.
But you can't replace little things like that. Yeah. Like where if I were to win everything, if I were to have not gotten hurt in 2019 and not had that stuff happen to be where I am now, like I can't really say I regret stuff, I guess is what I'm saying. So it's just kind of like things have happened. Do I wish I still had my pancreas and my spleen and part of my brain? And yeah, I wish I didn't have all these scars. But as far as the experiences and as far as where I'm at in life right now and my outlook on it and my knowledge on it and stuff like that, so I can't really be super pissed about my life right now, I guess. I'm getting paid good money right now to still ride my dirt bike. I have, a lot of fans and followers and people who, I'm probably going to be I have enough influence on the sport or enough popularity or whatever that I'm probably going to be able to make some sort of living off the sport for a while now. Yeah. So can't really be too upset, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
have bad shit happen, but whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes in life, bad shit just happens.
Yeah.
So
Well, dude, this has been fun.
Yeah.
This has been real fun.
Glad-
The time went quick, bro.
Yeah,
we
I
could
know.
have kept going
I
too.
know.
So, but
glad I could come in. I'm always watching. I just reposted your that clip of Pastrana that you.
You did
I just
repost that.
reposted
Yeah,
that the
yeah,
other
yeah.
day. And then Gas came home and he was like, "Hey, are you busy tomorrow?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, I think I might be doing some stuff for Gypsy Tales." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, and then you DM me like right after that, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, okay." And I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
"Hey, I'm actually not doing anything."
I was like,
And
let's do
nobody's
it.
hit me up to do a podcast yet. This will be the first one back, like after this whole thing. So yeah, why not? Perfect. Let's run it.
This was good time. This is fun.
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about Costa Rica. We went to Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Yep.
You were
That's
like you were like 12. Dude.
Yeah. They were flying that. Was it you guys or?
We had the
whoever-
drone and shit.
That like
Yeah,
how
that-
much was that?
Oh,
That-
70 grand.
yeah, that octocopter or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
red
Yeah.
attached to it.
Oh, I was just talking to him about it this
It was
morning.
it was the red from Transformers. I remember.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
the one they used in Transformers, and you were flying it through the trees, filming us like in the
Yeah.
over a lake, over a pond or something,
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the trees,
They had
the
like
jungle.
the volcano and shit.
Dude, that was wild. I just
Yeah.
remember that. I was solo too.
Yeah.
I was by myself. I was like 12.
It was you, JH, and Ricky.
Yeah.
I remember we were walking through like the markets in like downtown,
Yeah.
fucking wherever we were.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that. I still remember that. That was sick. That little what we filmed the actual like photo shoot at on the side of that volcano. The track was like terrible. It was like
It was
basically
like an 80 track.
Yeah, basically an 80 track, but like that was now looking back at that was fun.
Yeah,
was
that was the
sick.
first time I ever heard of you. First
Yeah.
time I ever saw you, and
Yeah.
you're on a super mini, fucking faster than Ricky Carmichael,
Yeah.
and I was like, Jesus Christ, bro. So
that
yeah,
was
we
a
go
good
way
time.
back. So this was cool to do.
Yeah, sweet. I'm stoked. Do it again.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
Sweet.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.